like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
all right. So we have another good one, another great one. We might be putting our tinfoil hats on for this one. Word to the Pentagon, they've been dropping hearings, and there's been some news that's been breaking. I think they call them UAPs. Previously known as UFOs. There's been some alien talk inside the world, and it leads us to a fun conversation where I think everybody has a little bit of political fatigue. So we're gonna have a little fun this weekend. Like I said, possibly put on our tinfoil hats and discuss a couple different things that deal with the manner. Like what is the government actually hiding from us, and is it something that we should be afraid of? But before we get into that, again, I am your fence sitting moderator, Q. Amazing panel here. I'll allow them to introduce themselves, starting with G.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check that out wherever you get your podcast at GSHPOD. Ha.
FBA Zone, talk to him.
Yeah. What's up? It's FBA Trey, aka David Walker. I'm just here for another opportunity to intellectually spar with the brethren. Looking forward to another fruitful conversation. Hit the likes, hit up the chat. I'm looking for you. Let's go.
Yep. There you go. Charlotte's finest, a legend, some may say. Talk to him, A Black.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy to be here and discuss whatever we discuss. Get it.
There we go. Mr. To Be Fair Show host himself. Talk to him, Johnny.
What up? It's your boy Johnny P. Glad we switching gears on this one. It's gonna be a fun conversation. Got some stuff lined up for you. You can check me out every Sunday, 4:30. To Be Fair Show. I'm here Wednesdays 9:30. Looking forward to it.
All right. And I guess I was thrown out an icebreaker. So we gonna start off a little fun, then we're gonna get to the shenanigans. I was told by a panelist, maybe I'll let him ask the question. It might be better if he asks it. He can frame it the best way he like. David Walker, what do you got for us?
If you had to pick a food to eat for every day for a year, like you had to stick with, not just one day, would you rather have Caribbean food or some ethnic food like that, or would you rather have Italian food?
Is that how you changed the question? Okay.
Oh, how was the phrase originally?
It was white American food. That's what you had said.
Oh,
originally.
okay. Well, we can roll with that. Would you rather have American food of any ethnicity?
Well, what classifies as white American? Hamburgers, hot dogs?
Hamburgers, hot dogs.
I think you said like pulled pork, barbecue,
pasta, spaghetti, even like Americanized tacos, because we do it differently over here.
Chicken tacos.
You're throwing everything in. He said American food chains in general.
But it's not cooked. But I guess the catch is it's not cooked by a black person, because otherwise it's like a no-brainer. But you know what I mean? It's just like our normal food.
So you're saying also all immigrant influenced food that's American also? Or are we just talking about American cuisine?
I would say American.
It sounds like you're trying to broaden it all the way open into where it's also everything that's influenced. So then it leads, but nonetheless, I think that's a fair question still. Do you panel, if you had to choose, would you go with American food or any version of an ethnic cuisine?
Caribbean.
Talk to me. All right, A Black said Caribbean. He looked like he's eating Caribbean Hut right now.
I'm going Caribbean or some type of African. If I gotta do it for a year, because there's so many dishes you can mix up and stuff, and all healthy, and go get your vegetables, different meats or whatever. It's just more versatility. In American food, man, you eat that a year straight, you might have a stroke or some shit. Like, McDonald's, fries, burgers, processed foods, meats, shit.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Caribbean diet or the African diet.
Got it. Johnny, talk to us.
Hey, come back to me. I'm still contemplating
Spaghetti. My bad.
that.
Hey, G.
It's between Caribbean food versus white American food, right?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even say if it's white
Well,
American.
I think he just said like general ethnic food. I imagine that can go Hispanic, that can go Caribbean, that can go. Yeah, I don't know, Indian,
Yeah, I mean, like my favorite diet is probably the Mediterranean diet.
and that's where I was gonna go.
Seafood heavy, fresh vegetables. So like Mediterranean / North African, like that's probably my favorite, like day-to-day type of food. So yeah, honestly, and even if I don't go day-to-day type of food, my favorite type of like technique is typically French. Like, so if I go to a French restaurant, like I know I'm gonna eat good. They're gonna have everything from the chicken, the steak, whatever the case. They're gonna cook it right. And even Italian technique, pasta aside, I get like my thing is if I eat pasta, I prefer that handmade pasta. You know what I'm saying? Fresh made pasta versus the highly processed shit in the box. So it's like if I'm eating fresh pasta on a consistent basis, then it might sway me a little bit, but I'm leaning towards that Mediterranean diet.
Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up American, so like I do love my American food. As I was getting, as I'm getting older, I'm learning to branch out. Caribbean is one of the like ethnic foods that I really, do like. I do fuck with. Uh, Flavor wise, sometimes it could be a little spicy. And so
This you switch the jerk for brown stew,
for
and
the
you be
brown
all right.
stew, yeah, you're right. Not everybody do good brown stew though.
And then throw it on the rice and peas. My bad.
Not everybody do brown stew, but as I get an older, more mature palate, I'd probably pick something a little more exotic because I really do like Caribbean. And then if I had like unlimited money and I could just get whatever I wanted, I'd definitely choose like a Caribbean, a little healthier.
Oxtail me.
Yeah, I love oxtail. I love curry goat. I'm rocking with that.
Can I jump out
Okay.
the window a little bit real quick? Oh no,
Well, let me-
my phone. You go with my phone. Go ahead.
I'll go real quick. Does Asian count as ethnic?
Yeah.
Can I swing that one too? All right. So listen, I ain't mad at hood Chinese, or if I'm going to like a decent Thai spot. It really don't matter. I rocks with if I was doing a year straight, yeah, I'd be all right with some Asian cuisine. If not that, I'm cool with Caribbean above American. Yeah, I go Hispanic above American. It's a lot of shit I probably do above burgers and fries and burnt barbecue. But my bad. Trey, talk to me.
No, because the reason this whole question came up is I was saying, as a Black American, I feel like I have more in common with American culture than I do, and with anybody that's from an immigrant background in the so-called diaspora. Like, I can relate more to pretty much anyone that's an American citizen quicker than I can relate to someone who is like from some foreign country, even if they do share my same complexion.
And you said that even if they grew up in America, correct?
If they were raised by people who didn't, then I think my parents probably had more like they probably grew up with those people's parents.
So in general, you're saying
Same
first and second generation immigrants. Caribbean is more so what we're talking about. You would have more in common with just basic white American culture than you would with them.
White or black, yeah, but obviously black.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
A white
So-
person in America who like we talk about football, we talk about basketball, we eat the same barbecue, we know a lot of the same music artists, know a lot of the same words. Like I rather have like listen to guitars over like steel drums, or like.
But like Caribbean Americans that grew up in America, they just listen to steel drums.
They were raised by people who just listen to steel drums. Their parents not really rocking with this. Like if your parents grew up in Jamaica, you're probably not as assimilated to America as you know most people are. Am able to relate to.
I don't know. I'll toss that to the panel. Do you feel that you relate to white American culture closer than a black immigrant that grew up in America?
Raised by
Yeah, first generation or
yeah,
second generation, first and second generation immigrants that grew up in America. Nobody want to answer?
Repeat the question.
Do you feel that you relate to white American culture or white Americans closer than you would black immigrants, first or second generation that grew up in America?
Jethro or Mr. Matumbo? Like, who do you think get more?
I mean, second. If we saying second generation, I probably rock more with the second generation immigrant.
And either way, they grew up. Let's just say they got here when they was 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, like my experience is going to more closely relate that black immigrant experience more than that white man. So just kind of based on that, I'm a more closely, relate to him. Now, when a lot of times if it comes to food, language, stuff like that, well, I mean, if he was here since he was 4, I mean, even school and language and stuff, he grew up like with that with the most of us. So yeah, if it's a black immigrant that looked like me, I would relate to him more.
What if they bring you home for dinner? Who do you think's food's gonna like your stomach's gonna be able to handle the food better? The person who's, they learned to cook in the Caribbean, the person who learned to cook in America.
I mean, hey, I don't know. It's anybody can have a fucked up kitchen, bro. I don't think that.
Yeah, I feel like you dodging the question like common, but I feel you.
Hey, Black, talk to us.
Yeah, it's like I don't feel like maybe I don't really relate, but I can understand that immigrant experience. Like, I feel like a citizen of the world, so of course we grow up in white culture by default, and you realize it a lot of ways when you travel. Like, oh damn, kind of white dude sometimes, but you don't kind of realize psychologically till you outside of America and you kind of notice their habits and stuff. But at the same time, we're still black and we adapt other cultures because we're around other cultures. We're around Caribbean, Africans, and Canadians, and different folks. So, we are the cool, we are the culture. So it's like we don't really appropriate others. We just kind of blend in different things because we're everywhere around the globe. So, I can just relate, but it don't mean it's my experience, but I can kind of understand like an immigrant experience too.
Got it. G, talk to me.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
I think it really depends on like where they grow up and in America, because like it's like both sides. There are folks who move here and they move to neighborhoods that are predominantly black, and they come up a certain way culturally. They start playing the same sports that we do. They out there hooping, throwing the football, listening to the same music, etc. But then there are some who come over and they stick to like soccer. You know what I'm saying? And those be the ones where it's like, yeah, we don't really click like that. Like culturally, they came over and kind of went white adjacent versus, embracing more of what's familiar to us. So I think it really just depends on like where they end up growing up.
So you saying it's an income level to what you can relate to?
Almost income, but like funny thing is like some of my closest friends are first gen Americans, and they may have stayed in humble places, but like they're like they got businesses back overseas, they got resources overseas, they had a plan to come here and go back home. So it's not so much about the money, more so because like, you know, Durham also is unique because it's not that big. You're not that far. Like no matter how much money you have, you're really not that far from some nonsense. So I think
So
it's
did
like,
they when they came over? I imagine they came over young. Did they adapt to American culture? Did they lean more black culture?
exactly the ones that I'm cool with. They lean toward black culture. Like they was cool with the jokes. They was definitely getting called all types of names. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy jokes, all the African booty scratcher jokes, the starving Marvin jokes, like any and everything you could think of that you might joke around, say in the, you know, late 90s, 2000s. Like it was that environment. So they embraced it. It's all love, it's brotherhood, but it's some others like in the same household. One of the brothers hang with like us and the other one plays soccer, and it's like they just had completely different sort of like experiences. One went on to like go on and play like professional soccer even, so it's like kind of crazy, but it's like that's a completely different environment than what we typically are around from black culture wise. You know, not a lot of brothers on the soccer team typically.
Got you. Okay. All right. So nonetheless, that has been our icebreaker. It would not be unpacked if we couldn't get into some Pan-African FBA diaspora conversational war-ish type of scenarios.
And let me ask one question, Q, since it's Thanksgiving next week. Do y'all have like any, it's like a twofold question. Do y'all have any like unique family stuff that y'all do on Thanksgiving that most people don't do? One, and then two, do y'all have like a must that you gotta make sure you get a certain type of food every Thanksgiving? Like, do y'all have like those, either one of those?
We don't really have a specific thing. I know I've hosted it probably for almost like since the pandemic. Yeah, but this year I'm actually not hosting, so I'm go somewhere. So yeah, usually I'm just hosting, so I'm usually like just getting the house together and shit like that. But a specific dish, I don't eat pork, but turkey ham is that's my go-to for sure.
I mean, I like I like turkey. I like the collard greens. I like the mac and cheese. I just like the whole, like, none of those by themselves are like super duper amazing, but it's like the combo.
When the
Like with
yams touch the mac, is that what you talking about?
yeah, the big, like it's something about the combo
Mhm.
to where, like, I'm not a eat it for a week type of person, but I just gotta get my 2 plates. I just gotta get my Thursday and
That
Friday.
sounded a little crazy.
It
I ain't
does
gonna lie
sound
to you.
crazy.
That's what you gotta do.
Ah, shit.
I'll say breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Johnny out here sounding like a homeless sexual boy.
Oh shit! Don't clip that.
Yeah, for us, we don't got like no tradition or nothing. It's kind of different every year, different house every year. We both send how everybody feels. But you gotta have mac and cheese, turkey is like the main thing. But recently we've been getting like creative with the menu, doing like non-traditional things. Like somebody bought oysters one year, or crab legs. Just kind of like, making it fun and shit. So you got your main Thanksgiving stuff, but
You're having a Thanksgiving broil.
yeah, it started bringing. So I think I did steaks one year.
That
Like,
ain't bad.
Yeah, y'all know, hey Black, if you pick ethnic food, you can't have none of that now. You got to stick with
man, they
that
got all the same stuff, man.
curry goat, bro. Nah, curry goat. That's it, bro.
They got all the same.
Plantains.
I just turn into oxtails, and you know what I mean. You be all right. Still get the mac and cheese and yams actually.
Gotta have
Curry
that.
mac. Curry mac.
I ain't pressed for you.
Talk to us, Trey.
No, the same thing. I just I don't eat pork, but the rest of my family is very traditional. They eat all the stuff that you normally eat. I have my own feelings about Thanksgiving if you know the history behind that, but I don't want to spoil anybody's parade.
I think that probably all of us are aware
We
of it.
just be trying to eat, man. We know.
All our family get together and we eat. That's what I think that.
I just want to give Auntie a hug. That's it. I just want to give Auntie a hug.
I think we all went through our protest phase, and
what's that like?
we came back and just wanted some food.
Yeah, get your little vibrational plate, bro.
Hey, and if they
have a
ask
little
y'all,
drink with your cousins, you ain't saying. You say what?
Hey, if they ask y'all who y'all voted for, y'all can plead the fifth. You know, you ain't got to ruin Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna say the black person.
They just know not to ask because I'm gonna just tell them what I'm gonna tell them.
Them old heads be getting mad, boy. Them old heads was passionate about that election,
straight
boy.
Up, bro.
Yeah,
I'm almost kicking me under the table.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Nah, well, I guess we have pretty much open dialogue across the board. I'm just usually the contrarian, but yeah.
That's right.
But it sounds like we kind of we wrapped this part up. Again, the ice has been broken, and nonetheless, with that said, this is one of those times I do a hee hee, and I'm giving it to G. I don't know if he's going to sit on the fence, but he's going to kind of guide us through this conversation. This might be a little bit more of his wheelhouse, where UFOs, UAPs, aliens. I'm interested to see where this conversation goes. G.
Yeah, all right. So UFO has recently been rebranded to UAP, which means unidentified anomalous phenomena. Like,
What?
exactly. Yo, it's crazy what they doing here. But unidentified anomalous phenomena. It used to be unidentified flying objects, but what they're saying now is they're calling it anomalous phenomena because these niggas just not flying. They underwater. They going from water to air to water, allegedly. So,
and I've also heard that because the term flying is not a proper description. Because a lot of times they're just sitting in air or something like that.
Correct. They just might be stationary, hovering over something and then disappear, allegedly. So for those who aren't aware, there were 2 congressional hearings recently. Both of them are on YouTube. The first one was called Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth. That was the name of the congressional hearing. So you literally got these 4 or 5 white guys who work behind the curtain, who have these top security clearances, etc. And they're saying the government has been hiding things from Congress and keeping things a secret. And they could only say but so much because of certain classified or clearance, security clearance stuff. So they could only say but so much publicly. But they admitted, the dude said, Luis.
I got a couple clips. Want me to play those? And I know you sent me in one. Or
you can play both of them. He said, "We are not alone in the cosmos." That's his quote. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can play some of the clips from the hearing.
Okay. And I think maybe this first clip I'm gonna play, I think that this might be defining up what you was just speaking about a little bit. And I'll pull those other ones up.
Are there aliens in the ocean? Last week, there was a House oversight meeting titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, UAP, Exposing the Truth. UAP is the new word for UFO. Biggest testimony came from this guy, Luis Elizondo, who is a former Defense Department official and an author who has a book about UAPs. He said that the United States is in possession of UAP technology, which he believes could be alien technology. In this meeting, 4 government officials and members of the military testified that they believe there are non-human intelligent UAPs. They believe that. However, to date, not a single one of them has ever been able to provide a single piece of hard evidence. Luis Elizondo has also admitted that his friends in the government have in the past given him fake UAP information before. And so then the Pentagon releases its annual UAP report, and they reviewed 757 new cases of UAPs. Of those, they said that 21 cases merit further analysis due to anomalous characteristics and/or behaviors. They also say it is important to underscore that to date, AARO has discovered no evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology. The Pentagon is saying we have things that we don't know what they are. but we don't know what they are, so we can't say they're aliens. And the government.
So nonetheless, it's a little bit of that.
About alleged government. House Oversight Committee quizzed experts about alleged government cover-ups of alien activity. And this is serious stuff. The Pentagon says it is, in fact, investigating 21 reports of, quote, unidentified anomalous phenomena, calling them, quote, interesting. What caught our eye from the hearing is the questions from newly re-elected Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to the panel.
There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
I am not, ma'am.
I'm not.
No, ma'am.
Are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface?
I don't know about a base, but as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
And last but not least,
the U.S. military and intelligence community are seeing a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensitive information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that people can make very clear,
high
resolution.
How many visuals, graphic videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds, maybe thousands. I mean, I also wanted to say, because there was some conversation around concern around the revealing of these materials, revealing the source collections, but some of these are shot from helicopters using normal videos of the oceans. I just think that's absurd that somehow you're going to be revealing some secret U.S. technology by revealing that you've photographed orbs off the coast of Kuwait.
all right. So nonetheless, G, I'll toss it back to you.
No, I kind of want to toss it up to the group after kind of seeing some of those clips. What are your initial thoughts or impressions after hearing what they talked about on those congressional hearings?
I think if me personally, I just sent in a clip if you want to pull that one up, but I think this is just smoke and mirrors, because like if you do like a deeper dig into a lot of it, because I like space. I'm a little nerdy, but like if you do a dig into like a lot of these UFO sightings, a lot of them either be like optical illusions based on like camera angles and being shot from like airplanes that are like thousands of feet in the air, or being shot from low angles, or a lot of them are man-made technology like drones and stuff. It's just they don't have, some of it might be foreign stuff, some of it might be, from a U.S. department that's not communicating with whoever's seeing it. So I think they're making a big deal about UFOs, and it's a smoke and mirror, because there's a lot of money that's not accounted for from the Pentagon, and I know they ain't wasting all that money just looking up UFOs and doing that. So I think them having us talk about UFOs is designed to make us not look at how they actually spending that money. Because if it was really UFOs, ain't none of us, like if an alien civilization is that smart, there's nothing we gonna be able to do with them. American, Chinese, Russian, they like are way ahead of anything humans can do. So there's no way we're gonna be able to like contain it or manage that. If aliens really get to us, it's probably a wrap for all humans, not just Americans or any country.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I was actually watching. Well, yeah, before this, I watched one of the guys that was on the Pentagon. He had like a long form interview. Maybe it was on like Lex Friedman or something like that. In which he was he has multiple tiers and clearances within the military, but everybody that was on the panel all had those exact same clearances, or if not more, in which these are all government officials who either still work within or have stepped down. But within hearing them explain it, there are certain things that they, that they do explain, and then things that they can't say. But there is And I think the lady inside that first clip was kind of like hinting at the idea, like it's not even specified if these are aliens in the sense of what we say, or if this is like, like there's different presences that already exist within the world, blah 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 blah. But there is, I guess, clear video footage that just isn't cleared, to go along with a bunch of different other things that don't really line up as optical illusions. When you say there's, I think, what was it, like an infrared plus a sonar plus like they'll have like 4 different military sources, and they typically say that a lot of times they end up focusing around nuclear sites, and where the nukes are at, or previously where nukes have been at. And like, I don't know, just listening to the guy talk, it ended up being really interesting, where it expanded it past the idea of like the Martians are coming to the fact that there's a bunch of unknown that we don't really know. Then when they kind of like start talking down the lines of like, we've only mapped 10% of the ocean. Go down to the idea that, like prior to 50 years ago, we really didn't understand even the concept of microorganisms that were floating in amongst us continually in time. Where, like I said, I think that it's an interesting conversation. I don't want to hog the ball, so I'm kind of toss it.
Yeah, like when you look at the hearings and stuff, it's like you don't really know what's going on, but you do get the feeling like something is being hidden. But then it's like, why? Like, if it is aliens or other forms, what is their point in hiding from us? If our government knows, what's their point in hiding? So I feel like it got to be a bigger reveal for people to like truly put some effort into it. Because even with the sightings now, with Photoshop, with AI, with technology, now it's hard to kind of determine what's real. I mean, video footage 20 years ago would be more believable than now. It's like you can kind of create anything, and so we just in this space where you don't really know what to believe until you see it yourself. I feel like I've seen some shit one time, me and my cousin, and we was glad we was together because we felt like nobody was gonna believe us. And we saw some shit driving through Raleigh one night coming from DC, and like I said, just hovered over and zoomed out. And we both looked at each other like, you see that type shit? Like, yeah. We wasn't high or nothing. But so it's instances where people see stuff, but they always seem to be like by themselves or with one other person. But it has to be like a bigger reveal, I feel like, to a group of people in various camera angles. Well, so undeniable video footage because there's so much video footage and something like that. But it's definitely something, that the government knows. I don't think they know for real anything, but if it's something I don't understand what they hiding from, like what is their point of not revealing themselves to the general population? So like they said, they would be real smart, so they know how to let us know they're tapping by technology, do whatever. So I don't know, but right now it's like it's not enough evidence to be a real focus. It's just like a real shit going on.
I'll say this too. I think, I do think there's a lot of credence to the fact that it's some kind of unknown man-made technology, and I think like we should, focus in on that because I think there is a lot of stuff like the military has like been the lead for a lot of innovation from like internet to GPS, so they do have like advanced technology that's not out there for regular society. So I would lead it to that, but it's just when it comes to alien talk, to me, that's where like a person like me, I get turned off because the likelihood of something like that is so low versus like the fact that it might be some man-made stuff that we just can't explain. And I think that's a more like logical, realistic answer. And it's not like it's not hyperbolic or, extreme, like alien life forms have taken over the country or taken over the world.
So I guess why would the military come out and say that their own, I guess, vehicles or I don't know, whatever you would call it, whatever, like their own experiments are interfering with them?
Well, because I think like a lot of stuff's so secretive that like sometimes the right hand don't know what the left hand's doing. Sometimes sometimes regular people end up seeing this stuff. So I think they have to like address it in some kind of form. But like, and I think they're maybe not trying to, expose everything that's going on. But sometimes if like somebody sees something and they're a government agent and they don't know what's going on, there has to be some kind of explanation, and usually it's something that they don't know what's going on above them.
There probably is some of that, John. I agree with you. This is probably a lot of smoke and mirrors because whatever they know is going on, like they obviously know a lot more than they're telling us. Just like they know all kinds of secrets. Like when we talk about the Vatican, they talk about a lot of these old world relics where they have ground penetrating radar where they're showing roads over the Amazon, under the Amazon, where all the explorers wrote that. But when people speak about these things, they're dismissed as conspiracy theorists or because the information wasn't peer reviewed by the same people who are withholding information anyway. So we talk about like you said, most of the ocean hasn't been explored. We know that there are places all over the planet that are restricted. It's very plausible that there are beings, intelligent beings outside of our perception that are aware, because we can only sense a small portion of the visible, a small portion of the spectrum anyway. So for all we know, there could be things around us right now that we just can't even see. Like when they use the things to catch on the ghosts and everything, because they can see like the
Yeah.
presence or beyond that. So
But
like
why would they be here messing with us though? Like, why would aliens just be in?
But
Like,
I think that might be like that's like the most simplified way of looking at it. In the idea of like there are Martians or people from Jupiter that are, or people from the other galaxy that's coming.
right,
In
exactly.
comparison to the fact that, well, one is just the idea that these are things that we can't identify. They don't necessarily like name them aliens as much as these are things that exist that we can track at times that move outside of the laws of physics in which we can recognize. And
Exactly.
that's
It can
why it's
even be
unidentified, anomalous, whatever the P word is. Um, go ahead, Trey.
it's like it can even be like when they talk about the spiritual realm. Like there could be things that we can't perceive that are like that tap into that where it can be impacting us, and it's not like something from Jupiter. It could be something like that they talk about biblically, where they talk about the will of God, and they talk about they open the eyes and they can see the presence of God and all that. And we talk about all the ancient texts where they said there were presence there. Like there's all kinds of history, and this quote that this person was, I
Or it
think it
could be the
was from the
Anunnaki. I
NOI.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Like this person did this that from higher level conversations. They interviewed somebody from the NOY, and it says like you
Oh,
have
I know you're talking about.
a puzzle pieces where you don't see the picture, but you just see a bunch of pieces, so you don't know what the pieces are supposed to go together, but you know that there's something there that's missing. So we know this, but then when you put the two and two together, you dismiss as conspiracy theories because you don't get the validation by the people that are have benefit that have a justification from their perspective of hiding this information.
Mhm.
So this is just more, I think, validation for the conspiracy theorists who would have said that the government is hiding things 20 years ago, and everyone would have thought they were crazy, and here we are now. So I just wonder if we zoom in 20 years in the future, what are the conspiracy theorists saying now that could be confirmed in the future, and everyone will say that they're crazy. And I kind of fall into that
Yeah, and
bucket
I guess
personally.
the other part that is interesting to me is there's like this isn't the first Pentagon hearing where they're releasing unclassified documents that and people are coming to talk about it. I think you might have had like 4 presidents that have like hinted at it. Obama came out at just at a random time and just was like, "Hey, now it's some shit that we can't really explain out there."
Yeah,
Trump, like it's kind of been a thing over at least like the past 15 years. And I forget whatever the little thing was that they had unclassified. Ever since that kind of happened, there's been like this slow trickling of, hey, there could be some other things that exist that we can't explain. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm fairly open to the conversation, and like I'm not specifically the aliens are coming type of guy, but like I said, hearing military professionals talk about it it was interesting, specifically around how they made the parameters to where it was no longer like a sci-fi angle of it as much as like scientifically these are things that register on our things that we can't actually identify and explain, and they move outside the realm of human physics as we know it. And that could either mean that for the past 70 years somebody's had vehicles that defy physics, or there's something that we don't really understand.
And
I mean, does it necessarily mean that, or could it just be mistakes in like readings? I don't necessarily.
But if like three things read the same thing,
but like
that ends up being
a mistake in reading too. Like
it could be human error, like in like a lot of like these metrics and these radar systems. It takes somebody that's behind the screen that's actually like reading this information off too.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you have eyewitness plus the sonar and the radar, and then I think maybe it's like a third one. But then they also like I guess the thing that they can't talk about ends up being there is classified government surveillance metrics and how they're able to collect data that they say they can't talk about because it's classified, in which they're saying that they have the 4K footage of whatever the thing is.
And the other piece to it is like, in addition to sonar, it's like when objects are in the like moving through the air, like based off of the stuff we built, they measure it, I think, in G forces or something like that. And so, and like, yeah, the most like the fastest joint that we have can maybe push to like 14 G forces, but the average human will start to pass out around 9 or 10. And
I think you can only hold 9 for a little bit, then you pretty much about to die.
Yeah,
you gotta be like a fighter pilot to even do that too.
That's that Top Gun shit.
Yeah.
Real talk. But the shit that they're clocking is going hundreds, if not thousands, of G's in terms of maneuvers. Like,
I mean, but
there's not that's a big error.
Like I haven't seen all I haven't seen everything, but from like the debunks that I've watched when these conspiracy theories come on, and like I say, a lot of the dudes be crazy, and it's easy to debunk some of the stuff. And so,
well, that's why I don't really want to put it at that spot. To me, I like talking about with the military, the people that have years in the military and are still in the military,
right? But
that are talking under oath are saying. To me, that's way more interesting.
But I think
and the videos that they're referencing with that,
and I think that leads to, like I say, they're not talking sci-fi, but I think there is man-made technology out there that, like, whether it's from a foreign country or a hostile country, and that's why they can't talk it, or it's something that from our military that they're working on.
But,
I can believe
probably some of that.
But man-made technology that goes beyond what humans can do physically.
I'd have to look. I'd have to see the exact video y'all are talking about from that.
Well, yeah, it's that, and then I guess,
and that's the
what's
thing. They
been
won't release the
unclassified is
videos.
and what's been unclassified is that I feel like they've said the fact that there are non-human material that they do have
biological material.
And yeah, I forget whatever the Bob Lazar dude be talking about, but they have quote unquote, which I guess human material.
I mean, there's
that they test and have and manipulate, and this is also something that's said from presidents down. So I don't know. It's just kind of like hard thing for me.
I watched something a few weeks ago about there's Martian land, there's Martian material on Earth that's come from meteorites, and it's landed, and it's come from like meteorites, and it's hit the Earth, and people have taken it and they've studied it, and they've been like, damn, this
biological material.
I mean, if it's something, if it's a rock, or I mean, they're probably amoebas, so there could be microscopic life on something that comes from another planet. I don't know, but like I said, I don't know. I don't believe in aliens like that. I believe there's.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay, all right. So Johnny, you gonna play the role of the hard skeptic inside this conversation?
So alien would mean like a nigga flying on a saucer from the skies. But what about the possibility of them fucking Aquaman and all his people being under the water in depths that we don't know about. Like now, this shit got me rethinking mermaids. Real talk. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, damn, are mermaids?
They come from under the water. That's not alien.
Well,
Oh, so that's
UFO and
not-
UAP has nothing to do with alien.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
UAP
Yeah.
is not alien. It's just anomalous phenomena.
Yeah, same thing with UFO. Like neither one of those deal
Okay.
with like alien.
Well, stuff on the Earth. You know, they discover thousands of new species of animals every year. So I mean, the fact that it's something that's unidentified, that happens all the time in nature with different species of insects to spiders to different fish and like stuff. So there's
Intelligent
always like new species that are like being discovered. So I mean, is it just a new species that are we talking about, or that's why I just like have to dive and see like hard proof before I'm just like buying into whatever it could be? Because I think, like I say, man-made technology from foreign countries is a big one. What it is,
But to me, that I feel like that's probably the easiest thing to disprove.
we don't know what China and Russia are working on, or
if China had that, we'd be toast.
Right.
Straight up.
Well, you have that.
They wouldn't be waiting.
But they wouldn't have the exact same thing for the past 50 years.
Right, nigga.
They got sweatshops and UFOs.
And then it defies the laws of like human physics.
If Russia had that shit, they are not waiting, nigga. They are.
I didn't speak about Area 51. I don't know.
Done.
You know, but like you were saying though, if they're around these
Nuclear sites,
hot sites, then they have a collective interest. They have an interest in that, because if they are sharing this earth with us, like John, like the aliens don't necessarily have to be visiting from another planet. They could have been here the whole time. They could just be in places that we don't have access to, because a lot of the places we have are either restricted or either they're inaccessible. So if they're around nuclear sites, that means that would be makes sense, because the last thing they want us to do is nuke where they live. Like a beef between humans will cause them to be at jeopardy, where they don't even really rock with them.
But why wouldn't they just leave if
because it's their home. It's their home.
Yeah.
But the other thing though about the nukes, I think is interesting, because it's like there's been, especially as crypto is booming. Shout out to Bitcoin, hit another high today. And when we talking about,
I got a little Bitcoin. I ain't mad at it. And it pulled everything up with it. My bad. Keep going, G.
It's a big talk about energy with the blockchain and the amount of energy that these currencies consume to stay going. So now, and with AI, the power of AI as it grows, you need energy for that computing power. So a lot of these big companies that are leading in AI, where are they going next to get their energy? The talk is nuclear. That's what they're talking about. I'm thinking like this. I'm like, okay, what if the other non-human intelligence already knew the power of nuclear, and now that's why they like monitoring what the humans do with the nuclear energy, because that nuclear energy can be that infinite source of power, which can then lead to other things, because you got that that power to compute and so forth. So I'm wondering if it's the attraction to the energy, almost like y'all watch them Kong movies.
You're talking about the under earth joint.
The under earth joints, and every time they would do, it would like attract them with a certain like energy field, would bring them out. Like I'm thinking like, because Hollywood be pulling this shit from somewhere, right? So I'm thinking like,
can I ask y'all a question? So like, y'all don't think it's man-made technology? You think it's like unidentified life, some kind of way?
Non-human
intelligent life.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just open to having a conversation. I don't think anything, but I would love to explore the possibilities within the conversation.
But
that's
do you think
pretty much my take?
But so if like hypothetically, if this thing exists and they're focusing around the nuclear, do you think they're like benevolent creatures, or do you think they want to like cause us harm and there's something that we should be worried about, or you think they're happy coexisting with us?
The dude that I was watching, he gave an example. Let me see if I can retrace it. Hopefully it makes sense. He said, imagine if like every night you went and you locked your door and then you went to sleep, right? And you did that like every night. Shit, sometimes you might like turn an alarm. and
check that motherfucker
and double check and just make sure. And that's what you did every single night. One morning, you came downstairs and you seen mud tracks on your carpet, big boot mud tracks too, right? But you look around, the door's locked. Ain't nothing been touched. Ain't nothing been stolen. At that point, what do? Like, so you can't necessarily identify if that's a threat, if it's peaceful, if it's not. All you know is what it hasn't done yet. But you do also recognize the idea that there has been something here.
So we see the footprint on the carpet, and we just trying to figure out what we're doing now. Is that the stage that y'all think the Pentagon is at, and they're just trying to figure out what that. I mean, we're not gonna know.
I don't know where they're at. I would love to speculate that as well, but
yeah, like
I think that
was
that's
one of
where
the
he was at.
That was one of the questions that I was going to ask the group was okay. Do you think it's a good investment for America to spend taxpayers' money in these types of programs to get more clarity, to do more investigation, like to open this up even more? Or do you think this is a waste of resources?
Man, I think they already have relationships with these, whatever it is. I think they just look how we acted with toilet paper, and look how we acted with the chicken sandwiches. Why would they tell us more than we need to know?
But do you think they just have relationships with Americans of the American government, or why would they choose the American government?
I don't think I don't believe in this. Even this whole American government thing. I think it's more like a global, like families that are in control of things that they may have relations. They may even be the same people, for all I know.
Lizard people.
I get going.
That's what
I'm about to
say,
going to what you asked. I guess what, and all I can do is reference like the recent things that I've listened to. But there's been from what is it, like the Soviet Union, once whatever that like small little honeymoon period we had, where some of them were coming over here and sharing intel XYZ. Again, they spoke about the concept of sharing information about similar quote unquote sightings. Same difference with China as well. There's been like quote unquote the exchange of information about these similar things. These are, all I can do is just say that these are military officials that are saying this under oath, where they're all talking about like these unidentified phenomena or whatever that yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You know what Bill Clinton said under oath? I mean, like,
right.
I mean, I don't know what that means.
They lie. They just gonna, and like you said, smoke and mirrors. Because right now, the biggest issue is like we're flirting with World War III, and they want us to talk about something like aliens, and we can't prove it. They're not going to give us all the information. But the reality is, you know, they just gave them authorization to use long-range missiles to and go into Russia, which Putin said that was a red line, and then he lowered the threshold for nuclear holocaust. Which kind of
they shot him. We gave it to them, and they shot
him.
Him.
But do you think that this is dominating the news cycle at all? Is not. Like this is one of the things that maybe your friend knew about it and sent you a link or something like that. But CNN, NBC, like most niggas don't know about this at all. Like they worried about the in-season tournament. But
that's part of it.
But, hey, go Lakers,
right? But I think that like I guess it's a weird take to say that this is a distraction if it's not distracting anybody.
I mean, you're speaking about
like you had to be on like CNBC,
C-SPAN, C-SPAN. This was some C-SPAN shit.
Right. This wasn't like something that was
nobody
just like,
watch.
Yeah. It wasn't like just a thing that, and then nobody reported on it. This wasn't the running line on Fox News or CNN or no, but we are just because of like it just falls inside the algorithm. And yeah, I got friends that look up different shit, so they'll send me links to it and be like, oh damn, you see the Pentagon talking about this. Same difference like when Obama had talked about it after his presidency. What was his smoke and mirror at that moment?
Well, to be fair, like
okay.
Oh no, but my thing was Trey. You said like about World War III, and like you obviously think there's somebody that's working with the said beings that are here. Like you think World War III is the distraction, so they can do what they want to do, or like, or why wouldn't we like if all these government agencies know about this so-called thing that's in the world, why wouldn't we be working together? Why wouldn't that be something that creates unity amongst humanity? Like if we all have a common enemy, or is
Well,
it
it's not
something that
public
like
info. It's
Well,
not public information.
what if you just don't know what it is yet?
Exactly. It's not
So you
public
can't have a
information.
common enemy if you don't even know if it's violent or a threat or what it is at all yet.
I mean, but if it's here, I think like it's obviously something that scares people. It's obviously a thing that like wouldn't that be something that like it
Why
could
would it
bring
scare you?
people
It hadn't
because
messed with us this whole time, so why would we be scared all of a sudden
Yeah.
now?
I mean everybody's scared of like you've watched movies like the unknown is just a scary thing, and if there
But it
was
hasn't
something,
did anything to elicit the
I'm
global cabal, I guess you would say.
okay. Well, guess
Like
what?
we'll
What
be doing like a witch hunt for something that like I don't know. I think that it'd be hard to keep that camaraderie to get together for a long enough time to do that witch hunt.
If anything, why would we want to even start smoke with something that has that much technology? We should probably just leave them alone and mind our business.
Yeah. No,
and,
I tend to lean
and
toward
then the
that.
Pentagon need to go ahead and do some audits and show what they really spent their money on.
Why? Like, you ain't gonna do nothing about it. So what does it matter? And we couldn't do nothing about it if we wanted to.
So why we what's
So you think it's a waste of resources to try and figure out like to collect because they trying to reverse engineer the technology on the low. They over here testing like we really don't know what they had. Now what if they let us know? No, we got one of the ships or one of the saucers or something that was like that they don't know who built it, how it was built, and they trying to reverse engineer the technology and they have not yet to figure it out over decades. What if something like that came out?
But if they still
That is
can't
the
figure
story
it out,
though, right?
but if they still
It's the
can't
story
figure it
without it
out,
being official.
Yeah, that's what every whistleblower does say though.
but here's my thing:
But
if
go
they
ahead,
still
Johnny.
can't figure it out, why wouldn't they make it public information so they can have as many sources as possible to try to figure it out? Like if you have everybody in the world working on it, we probably would have figured it out. But if they're gonna only have like
Johnny, I think that there's a simple answer to that one.
Yeah.
Whoever is able to reverse engineer it holds all the power.
For sure.
But they can't do it. So I mean,
Bro, if they reveal that information, where we gonna get toilet paper from, bro? Because you see how people acted over COVID. Like we don't have we aren't ready for that information. We can't handle the truth. The public can't handle the truth.
You don't think that the U.S. public, because that's one of the arguments as to why they have classified so much of this stuff. You feel like it should be classified and kept behind a wall versus like everybody knowing about the truth?
No, I think everybody should know the truth. Like I believe that. Like I think foundationally, that's something us as taxpaying Americans we have the right to know. Like they're using our taxpayer dollars. Why? Now, if we're stupid enough to like not handle it, that's something we got to work on amongst ourselves. The government shouldn't be hiding stuff from us, no matter how hard or tough it is. I think we should know everything they're doing.
I would say my personal opinion. I would say that information. Until they find out, I don't think that is that necessary for us to know.
It's about transparency. That's the thing. It's about
I think that a truly transparent government probably isn't good for national security. There are clearances and like
it's so many
all of those
security
things.
Clearances.
Yeah, all those things exist for a real reason. Where I just don't think that it's important for average Joe Schmo to know every single thing, know every single weapon the United States is working on, it just doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, I think that clearances does make sense, especially because I do think inside the 5% of language, 85% of the country is probably deaf, dumb, and blind, and move as sheep in general. And maybe there's like you have a 10% that know exactly what's going on, whether those are like the highly elected, the people with the special clearances or the billionaires that could pay their way into it. Then you have, like 5% people that's trying to find some version of what actually is happening and gaining as much information in general. But if the 85% was as inquisitive as knowledgeable and in any of that, like educated in general of a populace, I think that you probably have anarchy and craziness in the streets.
Straight up. And on top of that, why would we show our hand to our adversaries? Like, if let's say we did find a UFO and we had it reverse engineered, like
Johnny want to share the world's most powerful weapon with the world.
Like, let's
the
see
Chinese people and the Russians. He want them to help us.
I mean, okay, like we ain't never gonna figure out what happened to that $862 billion. Y'all just.
Well, that's a different conversation.
We ain't never gonna figure it out. Y'all gonna let them hide.
Why those have to be like? Why can't those be mutually exclusive?
I mean, yeah, I'm not for full transparency. Like, yes, there are certain things like security issues that like need to be known. But like, if it's something that we've been studying for 50 years and we can't come up with it, we've talked to China, we've talked to Russia. That is then something. I get it. Like, we shouldn't be talking to them about where we're getting the uranium from. But like, if it's something that's a 50-year mystery and we've already been talking to other countries, we shouldn't like that information.
Do you think that there's been like
they probably got their own samples that they trying to?
And what I would say is that when we go behind like all the clearances, do you think that there are not things that have been innovated based off of whatever the technologies that they're trying to reverse engineer?
Right.
Do you think that there's not different versions of high level
so you say
technology in military? Yeah, would you say military technology that they don't show to the populace of the American people?
But you say that technology that they got from a foreign source versus just our innovation? No, I think most of the stuff that the military comes up is human innovation. I don't think they've stolen anything.
All right, so again, like you're jump roping back and forth. So you were just engaging in the hypothetical that if they did have this, what would they like? What will be the reason to do X, Y, and Z? So if we're going with where you was at in the hypothetical,
well, if they did, okay, then I see what you're doing. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, to me that would make sense. And I would imagine if they do have this thing,
maybe they.
Then again, I think every country is trying to find their own version and way of their hand. I mean, like getting a leg up. But yeah. I also think that, well, I mean, yeah, it's an arms race for whatever the next big military technique, tool, or technology is going to be.
Right. Everybody wants
I think we'll be surprised as hell what's behind the curtain.
Do you think okay, maybe this is a better question. Do you think it's a nationalist issue, or do you think the people that may be trying to get this are looking beyond?
What do you mean by that?
Like New World Order stuff, like Trey was talking about. It might be.
Well, that's a globalist.
Globalist, that's what I'm talking about. That's beyond nationalists. These people aren't working for like the interests of America, or you think if they're doing it, it would probably be like a globalist initiative to push it rather than just like an American interest.
Well, all right, so I think that and G, I don't know specifically where you kind of have the questions there, but I think that it'd be fun to explore some of these different rabbit holes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if this is true, then we can go down the line.
But let me ask this hypothetical, because I just, so like growing up, you know, one of my favorite artists is 3 Stacks. And
I know where you at.
It's just one of my favorite bars ever. And I remember hearing it in middle school, and I started looking at people mad different, because he said, alien can blend right on in with your kin. Look again, because I swear I spot one every now and then. As soon as he said that, bro, I started looking at everything mad different, bro. Because I was like, what is he reading? Like, where is he getting this from? Like, it's such a...
man.
That's one of the most classic verses ever wrote on that Quentelyoung.
Yeah.
But do y'all think do y'all believe in the possibility that, like, because you know there are tales of like fallen angels that fell and had kids with humans. There are different things in the world that speak to non-humans fucking humans and having babies. It's been talked about in different places of the world. Do y'all think it's possible that they've already integrated themselves into society in some form or fashion?
Like
No,
Men in Black?
So
not logically, nah.
Not Men in
my
Black
bad,
level, but for sake of conversation, yeah, let's say Men in Black.
Okay.
Nigga
Well,
got a
G,
costume.
listen, G, you moderate, so you got to give us the orders of this, because I think we all want to hop in.
Yo, just go. Every man for himself.
Okay. So I guess what I'd say is, to what you're talking about, there's a bunch of different like versions of theory. So I mean, if you go inside like any version of like Sumerian ideology and shit like that, this is kind of what it is. You go inside like the Anunnaki, you start talking about Nephilim,
Billy Carson shit.
Yeah. What is it? The Nephilims, like all that. All of these things all lend to the idea of this, I guess you would say. But you're asking, do I specifically believe that aliens have integrated within American, or not American,
non-humans,
like global,
let's say non-humans
have integrated within the global society? Nah, I don't think so.
Man, I would bet against that, man.
No.
I think we have a very naive way of moving through life to where we just think
I mean we know, because
I like non-conspiracy Johnny. He engaged in this one. I thought it was
foolishness.
I thought it was Caucasian women and hating the Republicans, but hating the Democrats, but it's actually being anti-alien. This is like the trigger button. Who would have known? That nigga won't explore any thought. He like, nah, but actually that shit don't make no sense. Go ahead, Justin.
Nah, I just think, like, I mean, us as humans, we like, even like genders are such a volatile like discussion for us to come and say that we're procreating with another species. That is absurd, bro. Like, I don't think it's like biologically, like scientifically, I don't think it's something that could happen. And if
do you believe we derive from monkeys?
No, I mean, I think we've evolved from monkeys.
So we can evolve from monkeys, but we can't have sex with something non-human, is what you're telling me.
I think that's how AIDS got here, bro.
You said a bunch of monkeys like had sex with each other until they turned into humans. You think that's what happened?
You think that's more believable than, say, a non-human entity impregnating you? So you believe Virgin Mary too, right?
Evolution over alien. Yes, I will definitely.
Well, you believe somebody blessed the Virgin Mary? Was that a human or a non-human that got Virgin Mary pregnant?
I said I believe in evolution, bro. Like, I just believe in versus.
So I guess to what G is saying, I believe that every human origin story on its face sounds hyperbolic. I don't know which one actually sounds like it's like a reasonable one that it's just like, I could see that happen in 2024.
I mean, like, are you talking about evolution?
Like, I'm just talking about any of them. Like any version of the whether you want to go inside like whichever religion that you want to go into. Say it again.
Like Darwinism, survival, like you don't think evolution, like scientifically, like just makes more sense?
Listen again. I think that for a lot of people, I'm closer on your side. So I think all people probably evolved from some version of a microorganism, but I think that still to a lot of people sounds hyperbolic, and idea of humans coming from monkeys
but there is science.
also sounds hyperbolic.
There is science behind it. But like, what's the science behind the aliens?
But it's a theory, though. It's not a lot of. It's a scientific theory.
Yeah,
like the Big Bang theory. Pangea is a theory. Like nobody can really.
Evolution is not a. I mean,
it's a theory. It's literally a theory. You can't prove it.
Darwinism has. What did Charles Darwin do over there on the Galapagos? He proved evolution.
No, he came with a theory. It's a theory. That's all I'm saying. It's not like a stone cold fact. It's an adopted and a widely accepted theory. We accept that.
Hold on. Let me.
But I get all right. So I think that there's two different conversations. The concept of evolution isn't a theory, but humans evolving from wherever, like they're saying, does be what? But is it theory?
It's not.
Like if we're talking about like,
I mean, there's
like
science. There's science behind it. Like I guess there's a point.
The tough part about like this,
science.
because we're about to get into like an origin conversation. There's so much science that people doubt. So like if we go into the idea of like Neanderthals and Homo erectus and like the people coming, like I don't even think that everybody believes we came out of Africa. So when we go down the line of science, a lot of people don't like or understand or care about specifically what the scientific method has said and don't believe that either.
That is cool.
And I don't know if people understand what theory means either.
Better, like, but if you don't agree with like Darwinism, like he had a lot of like evidence. There's a lot of like scientific method. The other side never had scientific method behind their thing. That's the only point. Where's the scientific?
But I think that there's parts of Darwinism that could probably be
Darwin's theory of evolution. It's literally called a theory. That's just my point.
More than that too, and survival of like the species and the
survival of the fittest. Like there's parts of his theory that's kind of like debatable, but I don't. To me, I have to look it up. But I believe that evolution is like something that's been.
I mean, none
proven
of this
past theory in general.
Gravity,
but again, like
is a theory,
like I said,
the theory of relativity is a theory. If we gonna go that far,
and some theories are widely accepted.
Also,
like out of Africa is a theory.
But damn, I guess you more times than not, until a better explanation, and this goes all the way back to where we're at with the UAPs and different things like that. A lot of these theories are theories that are upheld for decades, centuries, until a better concept is given, i.e., like the concept of like dark matter. If you want to go inside like that,
exactly.
Like there's things.
I believe in dark matter,
but 80% majority of the universe is not. It's dark matter. We don't even see it, and it's here. So what could that mean?
Right. But with dark matter, I think that prior to that, there was a theory of what made a black hole and what a black hole was. That was widely accepted for an extensive amount of years, but the introduction of a new concept, and that's again same difference with like microorganisms or different things like that.
Yo, real quick, the Darwin book is called "On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life." So it was basically a book talking about white supremacy. So that is the person that you're quoting when you talk about we came from monkeys.
But
there we go.
But so my thing
I didn't
is,
quote him at all. I just referenced his science. I ain't quote him at all.
So why? So John, you believe in science. You believe in science, but yet you believe in a Virgin Mary.
I ain't say that neither.
Oh, okay. So
do you believe, bro?
Do you think that the Virgin Mary got pregnant without? Like, what do you believe?
Hey, I ain't finna get on here and talk about. So
because it's a fair question.
I'll tell you what I think.
If a virgin can get pregnant, then why can't a human get pregnant by a non-human entity?
A virgin can't get pregnant, bro.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Damn, Trey. He told you throw that whole Bible away.
That's what he said. I heard it.
Y'all went to Sunday school together. That's crazy.
No, I ain't gonna lie, John. I don't believe that either.
So what did get her pregnant? Do you think it was non-human?
I think it was the man she was with, David.
One of them three kings that came and hollered at her.
No, my bad. I think Joseph got her pregnant.
You think? Oh, you think he just lied? Okay.
Yeah, so you calling Virgin Mary a bed wench?
No, he calling Joseph.
Nah. I think Joseph was. I think they were both black, so there's no bed wenching there.
And y'all know how what Trey feel about black women and their origin story and what that means.
Calm down.
Nah, what do I feel? They came from Eve.
Not too much.
Yeah, how you feel about Eve? What kind of lady is she?
I think that she is a headstrong, spunky woman that don't need no man to tell her what she need to do. She's a strong and independent woman.
A black queen.
I didn't say that. I just said I won't be calling nobody queen, bro. I ain't with all that shit. But I think she was a spunky black woman who don't need a man, and then like told Adam, you know, she led the direction. And Adam, because he's a gynocrat, like a lot of the folks on this. I'm not gonna point any fingers or nothing like that, but I think.
And you pointed at yourself right there. You ain't pointing up, down, or to the.
But I think that Adam, you know,
he
should have been strong and then not followed her up. And then that was one of the first lessons in the Bible is that a man is supposed to lead. And then I think the temptation comes to, you know, but yeah, it's not really, you can't turn that into a knock on black woman.
Hey, that was slick, Trey. That was slick.
It wasn't if you just read between the lines, but
that's all you do is read between the lines and come up with your own interpretation, bro. But
shout out to the pot calling the kettle black. It's my dog. I love Trey.
This is why they can call in like again, like they did and tell you that you're putting words in my mouth.
Say it again.
Don't make them call in like they did last week to tell you that you're putting words in my mouth and saying things that I didn't say.
I don't think they said that.
Hey, don't let no man.
They said that I didn't say what you said. I said they said that I said something else, and you remember said
you bring an after show conversation.
Okay, after show. I mean, when you defend Candace Owens, you don't rock with Professor Black Truth, you know what I mean? I could go on and on a lot of the.
Hey, read the list out to him,
right. Listen, if there's one thing Trey could do, he gonna bring this back to a diaspora war.
All right, so let me ask this
but
question.
If we want to, I don't care.
No, let me ask this question because let's assume that these UAPs do mean us harm. Let's just assume they mean us harm.
Okay.
As the black community, who can we trust to be our allies to help fight this battle? Who can we lean on? Can we lean on other Americans? Should we be looking internationally? Will we be open to a pan-African approach? Is that the way then when it
don't matter no more?
The non-humans versus non-humans? Or do we got anybody that we can lean on if in fact it was smoke with the UAPs?
No, we can lean on ourselves. We're supposed to like look within, bro. We don't have no friends. We might have people that are convenient allies that might have similar interests that we can work with, but I think we have to get rid of this mindset where we want to be friends with everybody and have these one-sided alliances where we can't enforce the alliance because we don't punish people when they betray us.
All right, so what if you had to choose one ally? Who you picking?
You know, my people.
Outside of your people, Trey.
God.
It's
all right, I'm gonna attempt to engage into the question inside. I guess to what you're saying. You're saying if the UAPs come down here and they want smoke, who can black people depend on or be in allegiance to? To me, I think that we see what's that movie that Will Smith was in? Independence Day.
Or Our Robot.
Yeah. That's Elon Musk. That's when Elon Musk take over after the Trump presidency.
No, I mean
that's the next COVID. But he got a movie for every scenario. It sounds like, but
you do.
But no, to me, if we're speaking like realistically and not inside like hyperbolic fables, it would be the fact that at that point, I think there's a greater good for everybody to come together and becomes nationalists and or globalists. And because again, we're talking about something that is foreign to all nations that pose a threat to the world. I don't think that that's the time to be tribal.
I think my answer would be as a Black American, I'm a lean nationalist and I'm a team up with the Po whites and the Tiki Torch whites, and us black folks. I think you know they ain't gonna want nothing to do with both of us together. I think it'd be a good time to trade on like that. But we fighting aliens at this point. Trade ain't even about that,
bro.
like,
I just hate how black people
aliens.
have this mentality, bro. Where we just, oh, who's gonna help us? Who wants to be our friends? Like, bro, we got this, bro. Like, bro, no, bro.
Man, you can't extrapolate that ideology to aliens,
no
bro.
other group does this shit, bro. No other
Yeah, we
group,
fighting the Asgardians.
I guarantee you, at that point, the
the
entire world's going to bond together. It's not even going to be like an issue of.
Okay, word. We handle it over here. You handle it over there, and then we'll meet at the top. But we need to.
So, are you talking about Americans? Or are you talking about just like black people inside their isolated neighborhoods?
And black people who aren't eager to be teamed up with everybody else. I think I don't want to team up
to
with,
save the human race. Isolation is important, right there.
If we fighting aliens, I want to be friends with some people who have the codes to some of them bombs that America got, and like, cause if they aliens, we gonna need the biggest weapons we got, and them nukes is it. And like, if we fighting aliens, I want to be cool with the most powerful military in the world.
Trey trying to shoot ARs in the neighborhood,
and that's all I'm saying. The
sky.
American military is the strongest military in the world, and we're fighting somebody otherworldly. I want to at least have the strongest humans possible, and that's the American military.
Yeah, you don't want the Pan-African approach.
The pan-world approach. Fuck that.
So you trust them. I don't know, bro. I just
versus like aliens. Yes, I don't know an alien, bro. If you watch
who has done anything to earn our trust?
The aliens have.
Like who has ever helped us?
Us as in Americans,
I don't think foundational Black American freedmen.
Well, my issue is that I don't think that aliens are we. Is the
alien conversation?
Help me understand. Is the scenario that you're giving, is it isolated to the aliens targeting black people?
Nah.
It's just like they just gonna fuck up the world.
It's like the aliens are here as a community. What we gonna do?
Well, this is a difference between you
like
and everybody else.
What are we talking about?
Other groups, they're gonna be like, you can have those FBAs. We got you. Oh, they want to be our friend. Oh, they think they're together, but in reality, we're gonna sell them out. You can have them. That's how they're gonna be. But
so you think that it's going to become a race negotiation if aliens are coming to kill the world?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
They not gonna want black people.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think y'all are really reducing this into something.
All right, what are you saying?
Funny, I get that. It's a joke. I get it.
All right, so I'm actually going to engage with you inside like a very serious manner. If you're actually saying this seriously, because I would want to understand tactically how how would you want to organize all black people against aliens, and then what inside militia form would you have to fight against aliens inside some version of form or power that can actually combat aliens? This sounds crazy.
First off, I don't think we as humans can fight aliens that can fly ships at G-forces that can go thousands of miles, and they can hide and go in and out of the ocean, all the other stuff. And secondly, I mean, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but that's not a surprise coming from me. But I'm of the belief that like black people, we are those aliens. Like I think there's a connection between like biblical prophecy and these aliens, these extraterrestrial, these unworldly beings. Like if a lot of these things that we hear about biblically, if they materialize, we would perceive them as otherworldly beings. So who's to say that these things that we are seeing aren't traces of what we see there? And if you believe what I believe, I think those things are for, are malevolent beings. Otherwise, we would see them doing more things that harm us because they're capable of doing that. So I think when you think of who has been harmed the most and been messed over the most, I think we have been the most just people of all time, as far as like what we've endured, what we've contributed, all those other things. So I think those aliens would be coming to help us. And I think when they see us teaming up with people eager to team up with people, I think they're going to leave y'all and take the people that's trying to come with them themselves.
You changed the entire.
They gonna mess with all of it.
But
not with y'all, because y'all trying to team with the ops.
this is just like fodder, but you changed the entire hypothetical. He like you changed it from him asking if they wanted smoke and who would we lean on to they actually gonna just fuck with us. And like that's an entirely different question.
I answered that question.
In which we can explore. Well, you said that I would love to hear, because you said that you were going to be serious about answering it.
No,
I would love to hear how like you're going to get together the militia of black people to fight against aliens and alienate no pun intended all other people in America, and how that could be a successful strategy inside this scenario.
I think if these beings who are clearly more intelligent than us and clearly have technology we can't even perceive or understand, if they turn their sights on us, resistance would be futile. Excuse me. I think the best thing that we can do is get our lives together and get right with God and live righteously and be just, and then just apparently if the aliens.
So you're retracting what you had said then?
No, I already said, that's what I said at first. I already said if they turn their sights on us, then resistance would be futile. So the last thing I'm trying to think I'm going to be able to do is team up with people who have never done us any good to fight people who have never done us any harm.
Okay, so you just tapping out on it and like you giving up and just praying.
No, I'm not tapping out because I think the beings are benevolent. The last thing I'm trying to do is team up with people.
Well, again, we're just engaging inside G's hypothetical.
Yeah, in this case, they not benevolent. They here to fuck shit up. They fucking shit up too. They just hit Wilmington. They moving west.
I don't think we're gonna.
You were like, hey, all my FBAs, meet me at the statue. Like, what y'all doing?
I think we're gonna have to duck off, bro. I don't think we're gonna be able to go toe to toe with these things, bro. I think we're gonna have to get together, get with our family, get with our people, and then find a way to build something somewhere else. And then I believe if they're that evil, they're probably not gonna come for us first, because they're probably gonna come for the people that are bringing up like potential World War III and all this nuclear stuff, the people that drop nuclear bombs. You want us to team up with the people that pissed them off by starting a nuclear holocaust when they didn't.
I don't think that they're going to really differentiate. I think that would be crazy.
Well, that's
a differentiation.
I wouldn't even hit them with a.
You think that they're gonna play the moral police?
Yeah, they're clearly moral, because if they weren't moral, they would already mess us up.
And you think they paying attention to American politics?
What morals do an alien got?
I don't think it's American. I don't think justice and morality and right from wrong is American politics.
No, but they would have to know and understand like the history of America and black people's plight and all this shit.
Like,
they might have would have had to taught us it.
Who gonna tell us?
They might have would have had to taught us all this stuff in the first place. That's how they got the supreme knowledge. Came from somewhere.
Well, that's a different hypothetical to engage.
Who built them pyramids, Johnny?
Do we want to go that way?
I think it's because the thing
I
is
think the Egyptians built them pyramids, bro. They dragged everyone.
They ain't built shit since.
Hey, G. Let me throw into the question.
Every one of them
niggas ain't built shit since then, man.
Let me throw into to a question that can engage this. So it sounds like what we're about to go into is a conversation about do we think that there has been any non-human impact on the building of civilization, human civilization? Fellas, G, I guess we can start with you.
Man, when you look at those wonders of the world, whatever they call them, 7, 8 wonders of the world, it really is. When you look at how they date with science, right? They come up with an estimate of how long these pyramids been standing and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are massive structures that predate any modern technology that we know of. So like in all reality, what technology did these folks have access to then that seemingly we don't have access to now? Like, and two, did they even build it, or was it there? Like, was it inherited? Did they inherit those pyramids? Same with the joints in Mexico. Like, did the Aztecs and Mayans really build them joints, or were they there?
Yes, they built them joints. Like, I mean, I definitely think, like, I don't think aliens came down and built them. I think I think there's a lot of like, technology that like we don't necessarily like know about that hasn't been out there. But I mean, like, look at like this might sound fucked up, but like white people built the Eiffel Tower, but then they came over here and couldn't pick cotton. And so, like, I mean,
that's a bad example, bro. That is a terrible example. Terrible example.
I don't
the
think
Eiffel Tower is like it hails in comparison to like
it's
the
gonna
pyramid.
be there forever, bro. Like once we're gone,
Yeah, and I think that they just couldn't pick cotton because of like
these niggas
literal
have diseases.
Yeah,
How
like,
you know
in the
white people,
sun.
how you know white people built the Eiffel Tower when you know there were black royalty in that part of Europe for who knows how long during the Dark Ages. All we know is what happened after the Renaissance and the iconoclasm.
Okay, well maybe they didn't build the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
That's what I'm talking. They go Pan African Dre right there.
No, because I don't think that they were.
You learned that one on Hidden Colors. Tell them.
No, but hear me out though.
Oh yeah, he was.
I don't think that they're Pan Africanism. Think about what has Africa accomplished since they sold the best so-called Africans during the slave trade. Nothing.
Bro, we talking about aliens right now. Come on.
No, you brought it back. No, you brought it back to that because
I didn't. I didn't. Johnny said that. Johnny said that. That wasn't me.
But look, Johnny, for real, the Eiffel Tower was built in the late 1800s. We talking about pyramids that were built tens of thousands of years BC, allegedly. Like,
but I mean, that don't mean I don't think that's alien technology. I think that we just underestimate.
Or is it non-human? Is it non-human?
So? Gee, I guess this is what I'd like to explore. I think that this would probably make for a funner conversation. What would be a version of an explanation that you think could make sense?
Somebody had to teach them.
And who do you think that somebody could have been?
This is where the Anunnaki start making a little sense sometimes. I mean, you start looking at these theories. It's like the knowledge came from somewhere. Like they talk about that, Johnny, that image of the pineal gland where they're taking the pine cone and the hieroglyphics and inserting the knowledge into the people. Like the hieroglyphics do kind of tell a story of we got this knowledge from somewhere else, and that's why I think it. I'm not saying they came from the sky, or came from out of this world, but they claim that giants used to exist and things of that nature right back in the day. Like, so I just think that there was something here that
all those things line up with that
like we were engineered basically. Yeah, like we didn't just come from monkeys, we was engineered intentionally.
I guess this lines up with a FBA Trey theory where he speaks about the pyramids in America. And there is said to have been writings and texts that were found in America that spoke about very similar things as those inside Sumerian texts. Trey, do you have a and again, like I guess Anunnaki conversation could be interesting. I'm not opposed to it. Do you think that there could be possible, whether it's otherworldly or non-human impact to our creation?
Bro, I
origin
all
story
this together. Yeah, man. I think when I heard the same guy that I told about that from the NOI who was sat down with a higher level conversation and made
Wesley Muhammad.
I think was that him? I can't remember.
I think it was Wesley Muhammad.
Older guy, like brown skin. Yeah. But anyway, he told the story about how they depicted all these people as black people, and then the people that he ran into, they were not as
Anunnaki's supposed to be black, I guess.
Exactly, and then we also know that historically there were different types of human beings. Not all of them were at the same like level of like intelligence. They had like the caveman, the Neanderthal type people. There were like 12, like the Denovans, something like that. There were like 12 different types of people. So basically what he was getting at was that the black man, they looked at them as these black people, they looked at them like as gods at the time because they brought them into this higher, state of being. So those people that were capable of that technology, they were responsible for all these structures that we see. And a lot of the things that, John, you were giving credit to the modern day Europeans for building, I think that those things were also built by those same type of people. Like, I don't think that the technology that we have today is the highest level of technology that we've ever had globally, like as human beings. Like, I don't think it's like a linear like direction of like growth. I think it's kind of like a wave to where there's been peaks where we had certain levels of technology, and then it goes down with whatever cataclysm, and then it goes back up. So that's why I would believe that there may be some things that linger on.
Trey, let's stay there for a quick second.
Sure.
So what would you say at that time would have been like a peak? So are you like a believer, or at least with inside like this conversation where we're speaking at, we don't have to like be an ideologue and say like this is my belief, as much as like exploring this conversation. So within that, so where would you say the first peak or the peak that you're talking about, like one of those peaks are? Is this like the whole Atlantis theory? I think that also goes in line a little bit with the whole Anunnaki thing. I don't know. I'm just curious. Talk.
I would say again, like these are just like theories that I had just based on, because I grew up like reading the Bible, and I grew up with science, biology, and then just different type of theories, just like discussions and just being a critical thinker. I would say that the times of King David, they talk about building things that have never been seen before, and going to new lands, and going and building things across the globe. So, who were those people? They were the people. Then you talk about all nations will be against them, and then that's why I kind of like the Hebrew Israelites you brought on here one time. I think they would kind of understand, not on this show, but
you talking about
I think they would be able to articulate this better than me. But I think there was a time where those people were in more of a position of power where they weren't restrained by other folks. And then since then, those people, like, where are they now? They aren't the people, the 1948ers that we see in Israel, because we know that they aren't even acclimated to the environment where that's their supposed homeland. So I think the time would be before the Renaissance, like when the Moors were a global nation, where they were going from Africa to Europe to America to Asia, I think, and then building all over. I think that was a higher level of technology than we have today, where now it's kind of like we're more like a Mad Max dystopia, where you look at a lot of these ancient buildings where they have this all these elaborate stonework, and then stones that are like 40 tons stacked 400 feet in the air. Like that type of technology, I think that was when humanity was more at its peak. And a lot of that stuff is still present. What's up?
Okay, so you attribute more of like some of the innovations to humanity being at a different version of a peak, and not as much as like inside within, like, again, where we're at inside this conversation, a otherworldly thing. But I guess you also did say that you do believe that if the Anunnaki theory is true, those would be the original black men.
Yes, but I think those black people had more of like a spiritual, like they had more spiritual capabilities about them that allowed them to do things that we would perceive as alien activity, because we're just not able to understand what they were doing. And then that kind of goes in line with a lot of stuff you hear from the Anunnaki story, the biblical stories, everything like that. So I think what we have now is just we've kind of stunted and dulled a lot of our abilities, a lot of our perception, everything like that, to where that's the only reason these things seem like they're so out of world. And I think losing that is when we lost, like, because you're asking me like when we had our peak. I think we had our peak when we were more in touch, like when we were more spiritual and things like that. When we had our before our pineal glands were calcified.
And then I'm at. Are you thinking again? Like, I only know a lot of this shit just because I wanted to do my due diligence, so I did a quick little deep dive of like ancient alien civilizations and the UAP conversations and shit like that. But I think that at least within like that Anunnaki theory, was it? Never mind. But nonetheless, there were a couple things that are like quote unquote cataclysms that caused for like big, great worldly events. G, before you go,
I got a question for you, Q.
Okay, go ahead.
because you grew up. You said you grew up. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say you grew up? You had a lot of family in the nation.
Well,
or was it just Muslim?
My parents were in the nation. Then we became just like Orthodox Muslim or unorthodox. Yeah, Orthodox Muslim.
At any point growing up, did they talk about Yaqub? Kofi mentioned it in the chat, but any because that's like heavily affiliated with the nation. Like, was that like a topic of conversation in your household or amongst peers or anything like that?
We wasn't really talking about Yaqub like that, to be honest. But yeah, again, I think we might have did like, I'm trying to think, from when I moved from Jersey to maybe like 3rd, 4th grade. We was so probably like 4 years or something like that. 4 or 5 years maybe inside Nation of Islam. Then maybe like 3 or 4 more years just going to like the regular masjid. And then from there it was a little bit more like free flowing. My mother was still kind of like, I wouldn't let me see how I can frame it. Like, I went to church also as like in high school and like during that time. Like, she grew up Christian, so she just enjoyed the concept of like all that, from gospel music to the whole thing. So like I've kind of like had like a bit of like a taste of all or 3 different versions of religion. I guess I'd say that. But speaking directly to what you said, no, not really. I can't necessarily say that we dove into a Yaqub conversation at the crib. I don't know what they were talking about. Maybe they had some of that conversation, but nah, not really.
Word.
That's a very interesting story. You want to go into that?
Who, me? The Yaqub story? Well, I want to give Johnny the floor for a little bit. This is Johnny Pessimist, but I guess to engage you at first, I guess I'll ask, is there any theory that you might dwell on that deals with whether it's like ancient civilizations, could be aliens, it could be whatever, that deal within the human origin story?
Oh, I mean, I guess because I'm kind of a realist. Evolution.
Who is that? Let me mute, and then y'all can tell me if that's me.
I think it might be Trey.
Yo, let me
just
come back.
That's Trey.
My mic ain't picking up.
No, we can hear you. You good? Yeah, just mute.
Yeah, just mute.
I guess like human origin story, because the one that I believe that makes the most sense to me, but like people have questions about it. I mean, I even have questions about it. Is the evolution, because that's the one like I believe in it, but like there are questions about like, did we actually like evolve? I even think the Bible and the book of Genesis is like it's a summarization of the theory of evolution.
I'm talking about like the metaphor thing.
Yes, it's a metaphor.
Atom, evolution, that whole little thing.
Right. So like, I mean, but to me, evolution would be the one, if I had a deep dive and really wonder if it was true, or like if it not being true would bother me, evolution would be the one.
Gotcha. You didn't engage in what I actually asked at all.
I mean, that was my answer. That's what
I love Johnny. Do you have any theories that deal with any ancient aliens or
y'all said evolution was a theory? They said evolution was a theory.
You just only took the word theory out of what I was saying.
Yeah, y'all said evolution was a theory.
All right, Johnny. Okay, G, talk in the back your way.
Like other crazy theories, I'm gonna throw out there the reptilian theory, the reptilian race. Shout out to David Icke, white dude out there. Just a conspiracy.
What is the origin story of that? Like, what is the origin story with that?
It's crazy.
G turned to Jay-Z just then. That was crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yo, B is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, forgive me for not having the full
I got it
breakdown, but David Icke has this theory about this reptilian race that came to Earth, and they were like serpent men, like they had like reptile / human bodies. It was like a mix, and it has to do with aliens and things of that nature, but like that's like a theory that certain people descend from the reptilian humans.
Oh yeah, he says it's like a lot of the like
George Bush Sr.,
the whites,
the Rothschild,
exactly, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Anunnaki have a story for the Rothschilds too. I was
the
just
British
saying
folks,
that.
the king and queen over there in Britain. They say a lot of them was reptilian people, but yeah.
And also talk about the folks who can shapeshift. I don't know if y'all heard about these shapeshifters.
Yeah, those are like one and the same.
But yeah, so it's like for me, man, I ain't gonna lie. Like this is where I'd be like, maybe people can like do things that I'm not aware of, like shapeshift in the things like not extreme, but like can switch up eye colors and switch up things, like maybe switch up. I don't know. Like I just don't know.
Out of all the people in the planet, like they would give them type of superpowers. Like why would it be like them, like British, like the most unathletic, like those people don't have superpowers. They just like.
Well, it's interesting that they
the ones running shit.
Yeah,
they got some kind of power.
That's not a superpower.
While making you think they don't exist.
Nah, that's just evil.
That's a superpower.
Maybe that's their power. It's power.
Evilness is a superpower.
Evil power.
Evil. That's not a super. That's just you gonna go to hell and you just greedy. That ain't a superpower. That's
it's like the penguin superpower. That nigga just grimy.
Yeah, like a.
Yeah.
Most of the people who had superpowers live modest lives. Like the evil villains or the rich ones. Like the Iron Man was like the only rich superhero.
You said superheroes. Super villains usually don't live modest lives.
But superheroes usually do, and people with superpowers usually live.
No, the villains always like be turned up,
extravagant. Yeah.
That's why those are the villains. They not the super. They wouldn't. Why would they be the people with superpowers?
Well, I think that we're talking about the villains right now.
Oh, so I mean, okay then.
That's what the Kuwait people would be, right?
But reptilian people would have like a superpower.
Yeah, they wouldn't be. I don't think that they'll be like the Avengers of the world. Is that how you would like?
Well, I hear superpower. Yeah, I think Avengers. You gotta come and save the world.
Is that like your framing of how you see? Hey, Trey, I need you to take Johnny under your wing a little bit. He thinks that that the Caucasians. Oh my bad. Let me. All right. This John. Trey, you
unplug your mic, Trey.
Like your AC or something.
Unplug it.
Yeah, you going crazy. I couldn't even get my joke off. But
appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't even want to finish that one. Who knows who might be watching?
Probably for a good reason.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me better. Y'all can hear me better now.
Are you attempting to turn your mic up and down?
Man, it's on my computer.
Like you just turned it up. Turn it back down. We could hear you already.
So now you can hear me.
We Ben could hear you. We never had a problem hearing you. You keep giving us a lot of room because you're turning it up, huh?
My bad. It's been on my computer mic this whole time. I just want to mess with it then because I'm trying to turn on my real mic. But I got you. I just want to touch it.
Yeah, nah, you good. You good money.
Okay, yeah.
My fault.
Shout out to Trey's mic. Where was we at?
Whoa, pause.
Yeah, that's
crazy. Yeah, that is a wild one.
Don't worry about my mic, bro.
His microphone, bro. His like recording.
Whoa.
Hey, yo,
yeah, that's too.
That's my bad, bro.
But G, I guess was there some other places you wanted to go in the conversation?
No, like so I think one thing I do want to know, like it's kind of shifts it a bit, but like there are, the president-elect has talked about declassifying a lot of things that the government has kept hidden and locked down for a while. Like I remember.
Well, specifically UAPs.
UAPs, but like JFK was another thing. They said we gonna release the documents of what really happened, JFK, etc. I'm curious if y'all got any things that you hope the new president will like declassify, because you think like something like it's something out there hidden that you specifically would be interested in. Like what do you think the government's hiding that you hope gets declassified, if anything?
Man, I want them to declassify. Oh, you that's an open question?
Yeah.
Man, I want them to tell us who we really are, man. Because this whole thing where we're just one big global African, went back to the conspiracy theories that one of my favorite conspiracy theories is, man, I really think that all the European royalty, if you look at the Spanish Inquisition, the Inquisition was onto them, because they forced them into the western part of Africa, and that was a part of Africa that they brought into the slave trade, and they brought them over here, and they brought them over here with the other black people that were already here too. So we were already in America. We had our civilizations here. We are already in Europe. We come from royalty.
You think they got that? You think they got that classified with the government in like
I know they
written documents?
I know they do, bro. Because everybody knows, like, just because we aren't able to trace specifically back to our identity, that doesn't mean that they aren't able to. And I think that's a secret.
But do you think the government has that in writing somewhere, and they're like classifying that information to keep it from the public?
Not only that, I think that it's also accessible to us, but a lot of those sources are sources that people will say are not peer reviewed, so they just throw them out. Because they have all kinds, like they talk about some of the indigenous tribes over here that spoke Hebrew, and they had Arabic words in their chant. And we also know there's 200,000 years of human civilization. We know the Moors are coming here back and forth. We know the Moors were in power in Europe. We know they built a lot of that stuff. A lot of that information is suppressed. And if you look up the iconoclasm, that's when during the Renaissance they went through, and that's when they started knocking all the nose off these statues, and they started painting over a lot of the evidence that was already there. And I think that's our origins. They want us to believe that we just came from mud huts, but in reality, we live in Cassis.
But like, why would the American government classify that information that has nothing to do with America?
Because they don't want us to know who we are. Because we're the same people that were in bondage in Egypt, same people that were in bondage in Babylon, same people that were in bondage in Rome. Like every great power has that in common. They had us. And then that's
so you think we came from bondage in Egypt?
I thought we was from here.
Yeah, the Hebrews were in bondage in Egypt, Rome, Babylon, and in America.
We was from here.
But yeah, that does contradict the indigenous theory.
No, it doesn't, because there were 12 tribes. Some of the tribes were in Europe, and when Columbus said in his journal that he found the lost tribes of Israel. So there were 12 tribes. That's biblical. I mean, y'all like.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that sounds like you got the Israelite philosophy where you think like one tribe is Jamaican, another tribe is Puerto Rican.
It is very Israelite.
Another tribe is Mexican.
That's Hebrew.
I rock with the Hebrews. I think a lot of the stuff is what that they say makes way more sense than what we were taught in school. With this, Columbus discovered America. They brought us all here on boats. We didn't have boats until the white man gave us boats and brought us over here. Before then, we didn't have any technology at all, and they built everything that's noteworthy.
So for the record, you're saying that we did get here off of a boat.
Can I get
some of us did? Yes, some of us. Yeah, I didn't say there was no slave trade. Of course, there was a slave trade. That's well documented.
Can you
but
tell
that doesn't
the
mean
difference?
that. Can I tell the difference between what?
The ones that was here indigenous and the ones that came over on the slave.
For the most part, there's some people that can blend in, but there's some people that look like Michael Blackson who are clearly not the same people.
He African though. He didn't come slave trade.
Exactly.
But how can you tell like the FBA people here that came slave trade versus the indigenous ones? Is there a difference?
Phenotypically, I think there is a look about us that's different than the people that are like the typical sub-Saharan African. Doesn't look the same as like a like a Dwight Howard or Bill Bellamy or anybody on the stage.
It's two random niggas right there, boy.
I mean, but those are both. I just want to be like have a variety of like they're different. We don't come in one form, just like Michael
Which
Blackson
one
and
from
Usain Bolt.
which one slave trade and which one indigenous?
Michael Blackson, he was closer to the slave trader.
But he's African.
Well, no, he's actually African. It's
He's
not.
legit
What he,
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
not
I said
engaging in what he's
slave. I
saying.
said slave
You said
trader.
Bill Bellamy and Dwight Howard.
No, he's asking like, what's the difference between the native blacks and the people that came over here as slaves?
There's not really a big difference. I think they were all Hebrews. There were Hebrews in America. There were Hebrews in royalty in Europe that ran
so
out.
you think
And
that?
then-
That's suspicious.
Yeah,
then
that might break your entire like.
No, bro. I just think
it's getting
y'all.
a little shaky.
No. Ask me the questions because I don't see what y'all are clearly not understanding what I'm saying. If you think there's any cracks in what I'm saying at all.
Well, if you're saying that they're the same people, but
Because,
your
look,
entire FBA conversation, I mean, like ideology is based off of American
Yeah.
black natives being different people.
I think you're misunderstanding that.
Okay, all
right, because
totally different.
We agree that the Moors had intercontinental travel, right? They were coming to Africa. They were in Europe. They were also in America. We agree that, right?
Yes.
The Moors were Hebrews.
No, I don't know if we agree on that. The Moors were Muslim.
Yeah, I thought they were.
But not all of them were Muslim.
But the bulk of the Moors that were in power, that was a Muslim. Like they weren't Hebrew. They were definitely Muslims. They weren't.
Not all of them were Muslims. That's not true.
Well, not all of anything is one thing, but what I'm saying is that the Moors in power, those were Arabic speaking Muslim people. That was the Moorish culture is one steeped in Islam, and they speak Arabic. They weren't speaking Hebrew.
That's not true. Moor just means black.
Bro, you're talking about the Moors in power, like in Spain, though. That's what we're talking about. The ones that were in power in Europe.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, so now so you just said Moors.
Trey is taking a Pan-African approach to this conversation. This is getting crazy.
I thought Spain was. I didn't know Spain was just Europe. Was only Spain.
Bro, but do you know what part of Europe the Moors controlled? It was
even the Danes.
But bro,
like all of Europe at what point was black? The original black people were the original people on every continent.
Europe?
No,
yeah,
bro.
Black people are original people of every continent. We're indigenous everywhere. At one point, the entire planet was black.
So this is where are they original to?
They ain't original to nowhere. I don't know where they go back tens of 100,000 years ago. I know they've been in Europe for like if you look up 20,000 years. If you look up skeletal remains in Europe from over 20,000 years ago, they're black people.
So the Neanderthals just didn't exist.
The Neanderthals, there are multiple theories on that. One of them is that the people they got caught during the Permian Ice Age, and then they had to adapt to that environment, but they originally started out as black people. Then you have the theory that we're talking about over with Yakub, and then you have another theory that they migrated out of Africa earlier than the other people.
But no theory that they came out of the mountains, the Caucasus Mountains. No,
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, they left Africa earlier, and then they went to the Caucasus where they had to adapt there, and then became like the Neanderthals, and then they came back later. But the original man is black in all of those theories. And then the black people were on every continent. If you dig up in the skeletal remains, the oldest remains on every continent are black people.
But Trey, if you Google a map of the Moorish Empire, it spread through North Africa into the Middle East, present day Middle East. Yeah. And when we talk about Europe specifically, it was Spain. These are facts.
But if you look up some of the early writings and some of the early art from even more northern parts of Europe, you will see evidence of black royalty. Even if you look at a lot of those coats of arms.
You'll see Moors were on those ships. They were a part of culture.
Right?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that there were black people around. But what I'm telling you though is when we talk about the Moors that were in power, that Moorish Empire. It was a Arab Muslim, it was Arabic speaking Muslim empire. It wasn't a Hebrew empire. That's just.
I think what you're doing. I think that's a misnomer. I think you're categorizing.
No,
bro. I don't think we can just say that all the black royalty
I didn't say all of the black royalty. It's like saying that America's not a Christian. It's like at the end of the day, the empire itself was built off of Islam, and they spoke Arabic. When you go to Spain today, south of Spain, and you travel, the street signs on the highway are in 2 languages, and it's not one of them is Hebrew. It's Spanish and Arabic.
So you don't believe that they were black Hebrews?
I didn't say that.
Okay,
see, I don't even know how you got there.
I thought you said because you're saying that they were Arabic.
Can we get back to conspiracy?
I'm telling you that the Moors, you talked about the Moors in power in Europe, and I'm telling you that the Moors in power in Europe, that was a Muslim Arabic speaking culture. It was not based in Hebrew culture. It's just
I got you, bro. I wouldn't necessarily say Hebrew because Hebrew is a nationality more than it is a religion. And there were people that may have converted to Islam, but they weren't the Arabs that you see today in Egypt, like the white Arabs. There were black Arabs too. We know that. So I'm saying that the nation, the Hebrew nation, the Hebrew people, they may have been those converted to Arabic because at that time they were under attack by all these different nations where converting was beneficial, because even during the Spanish Inquisition, they were converting under duress. So I think to label a person by a religion, you have to take into account the politics throughout history that may have influenced those decisions. But the fact remains, these kingdoms, these royal families, and all of that, all throughout Europe, were black people. And those are the black people that they sent to West Africa during that time period. And those are the black people that they put on the slave ships. And those black people also had connections in America as well. They are not the same sub-Saharan Africans that they want us to all believe that they are. A lot of us come from royalty.
All right. And I feel like that was a good Pan-African FBA break to the conversation. I guess
it don't got nothing to do with Africa. Except for...
You just was talking about it didn't deal with sub-Saharan Africa.
We
were talking about Moors and them coming from the entire. Again, I'm trying to move away from this because the conversation didn't have anything. But you were talking about how black people populated the entire Americas, not the entire globe. You spoke about how black slaves were the same as the black natives here. Like we were going down that entire I don't even know how you would make up a way that wasn't about
Pan-Africanism.
What you were talking about, that part was Pan-African in general. If you say that the Moors are black, what you were talking about was from a Pan-African lens. There's not like a way to go away from it.
Let it go. That's not what I'm saying. I think we can let it go.
But I got you, Johnny. I'm steering us back to the conspiracy land. Like I said, that was a commercial break. That was sponsored by Tariq Nasheed's Cash App for reparations.
You're being real offish, bro.
Okay, my bad.
Like, what do you got? What Tariq Nasheed got to do with any of this, bro? Especially if you bring.
I just seen an interview with him. It was
mocking. Like, are you interviewing Tariq Nasheed?
No, those aren't the words I said.
I misunderstood you. I was asking to clarify.
I said I just seen an interview with him, so he was on the top of.
I don't like bringing up our advocates mockingly, but
I think G had a great question. Well, I would love to answer.
If we don't have to get down to Tariq Nasheed rabbit hole,
what question?
The one you asked Trey that got us in that rabbit hole. I had a great answer when you was about I forgot.
What are the conspiracy theories that you ever heard of, or why would they lie? Why would they lie about where we came from?
No, G had a specific question about America, the Pentagon, and.
All right, so as you kind of think through it, I'll ask this question that still deals with it, and I'll throw it to you, Johnny.
I don't remember. It was G's question. If he could remember it. You remember what
I think that G's struggling to remember what he asked. So I'm trying to move us past this so that we can keep the conversation moving. So this will be closer to the title question. Chats. Again, call-ins will be coming soon. Make sure that you come in, join the conversation. This is not a specific Pan-African versus FBA diaspora war conversation. We're talking about aliens today. So when we do bring you up, let's make sure we kind of direct it towards that way. But what could the government be hiding from us? And it's something that we should be afraid of. This was the other side of the UFO, UAP, alien conversation. It seems as though there is something that they're clearly hiding from us.
I think that's
and what do you believe that it could be? And should we be afraid, Johnny?
Could you play my meme? I sent it to the Unpacked.
I tried to pull it up, but I couldn't really get it to come up. Let me refresh.
Oh yeah, because that's before I answer, I want to play that, and then.
Hey, put it in. Can you put it inside the group chat? Not the group chat, the private chat. I could definitely play from there, but for some reason this isn't coming up. It's not clickable. Okay. Yeah, you sent me a story. That's the issue.
I sent you a story, and which one? To you or to the Unpacked group?
To the Unpacked group. It says you sent a story. That's what it says.
Oh shit. Okay, it was on my story. Okay, I'm gonna go send you the post. That's what happened. I might have sent you my story instead of the post. I'm gonna copy it. You see it now? I sent it to Unpacked.
Okay. Yeah, it's clickable now.
Okay, that's what I sent the wrong one.
All right. Yeah. Share screen.
Quick problem fix.
Pentagon has just failed its seventh audit and says it cannot account for what its $824 billion budget is spent on. Who gets arrested here? Why do we never have no follow-up? 7 audits in a row they have failed. $824 billion. How do you misplace and don't know what happened to $824 billion? But you want me to report when I do something, anything over 3,000 on Venmo? Nah, son. This is unexplainable. This is iniquitous work by the government, and I need answers. I think we need a public audit at all times. Anytime y'all spend some money, Pentagon, let us know. It should be on a website. I should go on Pentagon.com and see how you spending over $2 billion a day. What are we paying for? What's going on? And now it's just gone, and nobody get arrested. Like, somebody got to go to prison for that. Or just give me a job in the Pentagon so I could get a cut. I'm just hating right now because, damn, who came up like that? And how? And why are we not sharing it? Worried about me. Y'all can misplace $824 billion. Over $2 billion a day, and it's just fine. Sinners.
But that's also a mischaracterization of what the actual stat is, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't think they've misplaced the whole 824.
Yeah, it's literally just like all of the money.
It's over, but the amount that they can't account for, it's over $1 billion. Like, it's
sure.
Like,
but you're talking about 800 billion, 1 billion. That's a small margin. Like, that's gonna slip through the crack.
$1 billion.
But John, I guess let me ask you this as you answer this.
But my thing, we should be. Hey.
No, I get it. This is something that the more I kind of started thinking about, like clearances and just like governmental clearances in different stages and things like that, and the different government programs that exist within that. I wonder how much of those budgets actually have to be off the books, and those would be the things that are the things that's unaccounted for.
Okay.
To me, that seems like probably the most logical and easiest answer to it.
You're giving them the benefit of the doubt, but like,
I'm just saying, like, if we believe in like secret security clearances and the fact that there are programs that exist that have to exist off the books. And there's weapons and weapon programs that exist off the books. That's almost like a direct like correlation, and like it just makes perfect sense to me.
But I mean, if there's programs off the books, it could be listed as off the books, and the audit could come up straight. Because if the Pentagon is auditing the Pentagon, they should be able.
So then it's gonna be like, why are we spending $70 billion off the books or whatever the number is, and then we're gonna like ask about what it is, and like that.
But
That's
if
what
the
happened.
government tell me it's top secret shit that's for my safety, that's way better than, hey, we just lost it.
We're gonna see the same post saying,
It's
"What's this top secret
no,
shit? That's 70 billion.
but there's
I
a
need
way.
my invisible cloak." That's what
No,
niggas gonna say, bro.
there's a way about going about it, especially when we know how the military-industrial complex operate. They charging $70 for gloves that cost $5 to
They
make.
getting their
We
bread
know how the
anyway.
military
I
works.
guess that's my
So,
point. They getting their bread anyway.
well, then if they getting their bread and we know they getting their bread, don't lie about it, and just make
But
it up
it's
front.
not
And
a
if you
lie
got
if it's a top secret program.
But I just think top secret program, like, I understand they have to be programs that are there, but when the Pentagon audits the Pentagon, even if it's a top secret program, it should be accounted for within the Pentagon. The public don't need to know what you're doing, but the Pentagon should at least be
But
able to audit for
isn't this
what
like the
secret
audit
program.
for the public that we're talking about?
No, this was a Pentagon audit. They audited them
For the
themselves.
public, right?
What I mean, just say you doing top secret shit. Just don't act like you lied. Don't act like it was just lost and it's unaccounted for.
I'm almost positive that in general,
But if we know what it's
like
for, but if we know
whoever has the top security clearance, there's a reason why there's not people that's going to jail for this right now. That's all I would say. Like, if you have the top security clearance, I imagine you know exactly where that money's going.
Okay, well then we ain't gotta be afraid of it. Then that's I'll take my answer back. I'll play it. We ain't gotta worry. They ain't wasting none of our money.
All right, my bad. I argued you off your point. Why do you think that we should be scared of the billions, the 824 billion that's missing? I do want to hear the theory. I just
ain't gotta be scared.
I got in debate mode. My bad. I apologize.
You ain't gotta be scared. It's like they can do whatever they want to do with it. But
hypothetically, if it was unaccounted for, what do you think we should be afraid of?
Is that the yearly budget? 800 million?
824 billion.
Is that the year? Is that a yearly budget?
Yearly. Yes, every year.
I can't be mad at a nigga for losing a bill if you managing 800 of them things. Like that's a very small percentage to slip through the cracks. If your budget was 800 billion,
when you think about it, that's like 0.2.
It's a very small percentage.
No, my bad. I said 0.2. It's 0.02. 0.0. It's like 0.02.
Y'all ain't scared of the military, and y'all don't think they stealing our money. And
no, they are stealing our money.
So,
but they stealing our money in front of our
next year.
But they stealing our money in front of our face, though.
But then we should be afraid of that because we don't know what's happening. Like, if they spending our money on shit that we don't know, they sending our money to places we don't want them to send it.
To be honest, if they stealing our money and working on shit that I don't know, I'm not scared of that. I'm happy for it. To be honest,
what if they gonna use it? No, okay, cool. We ain't scared of the Pentagon and where all our money going. It's cool. I'm out.
Am I supposed to be scared of them? I don't. Are we supposed to be scared of the Pentagon? And I don't know what Johnny's trying to tell.
You think we should be afraid of the Pentagon
and where they're spending our military defense?
I mean, look, I do think we got too much budget being allocated for defense spending. Personally, the military industrial complex is it's a lot of money that I think could be allocated different places. I'll agree to that. But
I got an example.
We do got the largest global military footprint at the same time too. So it's like budgets is high. You know what I'm saying? And America got a lot of karma they trying to run away from too. So it's like they
and I don't need that karma to catch up to them while I'm alive.
That's exactly. Yeah, we're gonna keep passing that down. We're gonna keep passing that down so it skip our generation. But at the end of the day, America has a reason to spend that much money for defense.
But I don't think we spend it all on defense. We spend it on offense, and that's what's going to make it sure. Like, we don't have to have all them bases all across the world to protect this land over here. Us having all,
but it's typically strategic even for our economy, right?
It's strategic for exploiting other people and making money for capital. It's not strategic for defense of this land. It never is. And us spending all that money, it makes us a target. And all them money.
But does it make America stronger also?
It makes us more susceptible because there's a lot of countries like you can even see what just happened this week about we approved Ukraine to the
my bad, I ain't gonna be.
And then like the attackums, they shot them over in Russia. Putin not happy. Putin then lowered the threshold. That makes us more vulnerable as Americans. Period blank. And it's like we ain't get no say so in where that money was spent. We don't know.
I agree on that.
And here's another one. But
that's a little bit different than having bases over somewhere and funding something.
A lot of money. Those missiles cost a lot, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I guarantee you that's accounted for.
Most of them got shot down, and it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars anyway to send them that money, and it makes us more susceptible. And there should be more checks and balances over military spending. And them having $824 billion and not being able to account for it, that's a very scary thing.
I think we agree on that.
How we get into that though? Like, what type of? I heard you can get like government contract jobs. I saw something like that where, like, you can pick up some of these contracts. All you have to do is outbid or something. Like that.
And you can overcharge. And you can overcharge when you get that. That happens to a lot of that money.
But they can overcharge because they're providing something. They're providing a premium service.
What's the movie War Dogs? Have y'all ever seen War Dogs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I was trying to track the linear point from the question.
You said what?
No, I said I guess I was trying to track the linear point to the question. You said you're speaking about the bombs in Ukraine, right? But you were talking about us being on offense and having bases across the world.
Where that's us spending tax.
But that's
dollars.
like just like us spending money for a proxy war that, to an extent, is
that could potentially it threatens us because Putin lowered his he already didn't have a non-strike first
but
policy.
The other side of that is
he lowered it, so that makes us as rich as Americans because who knows what he could do with them weapons.
The other side of that is if we don't give them the weapons and then they really say Russia starts going back, taking over these countries that were a part of USSR.
How that bother us?
Exactly. Good, bro.
I'm just giving you the other side of the house. The other side of the conversation is that there's a thought out there that if Russia gains that power, that is a threat to America directly. So the idea here is we can't allow certain countries to do certain things, and we'll take proactive measures to shut down these other world powers. So because again,
Kyiv don't matter to me over here though. Like I don't care what
you said. What? Say it again.
Kyiv don't matter. Like if Kyiv became Russian tomorrow, how does that affect me? That's the capital of Ukraine.
But the issue would be if they don't stop at Ukraine and they ain't building. All right, so the thing is that like we're arguing the nuances of two things that's not going to impact us today.
Exactly.
The reality of it, because like what you're talking about, like he's talking about the long play and you're talking about the long play on opposite sides. So the answer to both questions end up being if it don't impact me today, then we almost arguing, inside a circle.
Nah, yeah, I'm done. I ain't gotta argue no more. We can move on. I said what I said.
So look, I
agree with John, bro. I feel you bowing out. I don't care. I don't care if Putin takes over Ukraine. I don't care if he takes over Europe. What did the slave trade? All the countries that got rich off the slave trade.
All right, you say you don't care if he takes over Europe.
Yo, bro, do you think Americans could risk our lives overseas to protect the same white people that started the slave trade?
We have though. Bro. We've done it multiple times.
I don't think it was right then. I don't think it's right now.
I don't know. All right, so in essence, we're on y'all just don't believe that foreign policy matters at all.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
All right, so you just said if Russia takes over Europe.
I don't agree with the foreign policy that you.
What would happen if Russia takes over Europe?
That particular foreign policy don't matter. Some of it matters.
Exactly.
But like Russia taking over Ukraine. Now Russia taking over all of Europe is totally different than Russia taking over Ukraine.
But that's one you let them inch a little bit further east or west rather Like that's how it all started
That's
with
the concept
Germany.
of
Like
it.
that's literally how everything started with Germany and Hitler.
No,
Like
that's not literally how it happened with Germany. They had the whole World
Okay,
War
but like,
One,
like
and
even
then
if Russia, but like
they
even if
they
Russia
were
take
broke after
over
that.
all of Europe,
but
how does
Hitler
that affect
slowly
us?
made his way,
How does
like
it affect us?
taking
You
over
taking so much.
countries.
We would
That's
have
not
to
what
adjust
happened.
politically.
That's not the whole story. That's not the whole story. Just because Germany, one country, took over next other countries doesn't mean that Putin is Hitler. That
No,
comparison is,
no. What you're
You're
not
saying it's the literal exact
you-
same strategy.
like you
No,
missing
what's
missing
the
the
exact
point.
same
You
thing?
missing the point. The idea here is World War II got started because of a movement that was created through Hitler and the German government. And through that movement, before the actual thing popped off, right? Because like we weren't involved in that too until Pearl Harbor happened, right? Like it wasn't our business until Pearl Harbor happened. But what ended up happening with Europe specifically, Hitler started taking over these countries, making his way further and further east or west, excuse me. It got all the way to France, and it was like, okay, the powers that be, the Allies, you know the whole story of World War II. But the idea is that has happened historically. We don't want this to happen again from an East versus West perspective. The Western part of Europe, which essentially is who we identify with as Americans, that's what we derive from. We're a part of the Western world, like whether you don't agree with it or not, like we fit that Western archetype, UK, France, etc. They don't want Eastern powers taking over what the West has established. That's just a fact.
Okay, what about Israel?
Trey,
They're taking
hold
over
on,
all the countries
hold on,
around them,
Trey.
and we fund that.
Hold
Or
on,
is
Trey.
he like Hitler? I got you.
But G, what you got to realize though is like World War I, World War II, America, we threw Europe a bone. Like it wasn't really going to affect us. We would have had to move differently politically because Russia would have been the power. But like we saved Europe by getting in that war and throwing all our might. So it's like Russia wasn't worried about us. It was never going to affect.
My
us.
bad. Do you think that Hitler was going to stop if he took but do you think that he was going to stop if
America?
Do you think he was going to stop once he had full control of
you know there's more Germans in America than any other place outside of Germany?
All right, I'm tapped. I'll tap out on it.
Think he would have won a war again after taking over Europe? They would have won a war against America. He would have lost that war. That would have been dumb of him to try.
I'm just speculating at this
like,
point,
yeah,
bro.
speculation. Like he
you're not gonna go to war over speculation.
Like if he would have took over Europe, he would have took over Europe. Black people were still trying to fight to give trade value. We weren't even worried about that to begin with. We were fighting for our own rights over here in this country as Black folks. While we like if Europe got took over, it was still gonna be shit for us as Black people in America. So like that really
I think you're making a nonsensical point. Like if there's a concentration of
I think you're trying to blow over a valid point.
All right, my bad. So if you're saying he takes over France, he takes over like England, Britain, like
he's not taking over America, period.
All I'm saying is that if there is a consolidation of power,
they wouldn't have been a consolidation. They would have been fighting back against him because he took over.
All right, so you just said the word take over, which then means rule, which then means that you become a part of like what I'm doing in my alliance, and like that's what take over means, right?
Takeover also means there's civil wars that happen. There's people that try to fight back.
Okay, all right. So are we talking about fighting Europe, or are we talking about taking over? You said if he takes over. I'm just trying to understand.
Okay, if he take over,
that's a big if. That's a huge if.
All right, nigga, y'all just proposed this.
Even
like I'm only engaging inside y'all hypothetical.
Give him trade.
Like if I'm engaging in y'all hypothetical,
give him the if. Even
if by the long shot they somehow are able to take over Europe, then let's continue.
Trey, give him the if.
Which is not very likely, but if they do that, it's still gonna matter.
Q, you got the if. Even if. They still not taking.
Got you. So you're saying like Hitler and pretty much the rest of the world against America. America's going to win that one.
It wouldn't have been the rest of the world because we still had.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Because there was still China. China was on our team at that point because we helped them out against Japan. We dropped that big ass bomb on Japan. China was with us. We'd have been tag team with China. India was.
These niggas don't got no weapons.
China
Bro,
had
we got two coasts
And they-
protecting us, bro. Y'all
Holy
scary as hell.
shit!
Okay. So
All right, again, like
Hitler would have
this
took over the
this
world.
just
Like
sounds
Hitler
Y'all
would
scary,
have
bro.
took over the world.
like the
Hitler-
like understanding what
y'all don't understand
yeah,
military.
like
shit.
if you
don't understand how
add
many
England like
military
the
mistakes
British
Hitler
Empire
made.
onto what Hitler and them was doing,
You don't
it
understand.
just
how
sounds
many
like a crazy concept.
military mistakes Hitler made. Hitler, like,
All right, so are we talking about what they did make, or if they had taken over the entire like British Empire? Oh damn, yeah, my bad. If we're
lost to America, like even if he took over all day.
oh no,
like,
that's cool. But I kind of forgot that the British Empire would have encompassed India as well. But
he would have had to take over that too.
That would have been another front, bro.
That'd have been a
through all
separate
those
war. He
fronts.
wouldn't have just took that.
Like, bro, y'all
That's
scary.
how
all right,
war
this is such
That's how war
a
works. You don't understand how military strategy works. You don't just
all right. So
take over London.
all right.
Don't you get Mumbai. Like,
Turn off the MSNBC, bro. Come on.
No, like
Oh boy.
Hey Johnny, listen. We're just gonna talk about this on Sunday, and I like
Hey,
understand
John,
I'm gonna
stand
wear
strong,
your
bro.
ass out.
Nah,
Pause.
Stand strong,
Because
bro.
like
Hey,
just
yeah.
Trey, feel free to put like this is one of the most nonsensical arguments to have right now.
I say
But
the same about you.
I will actually
If Hitler took
I
over the
actually
whole
engage
world,
it,
then
Johnny.
we
Just
should
know,
be next.
Hey,
dude,
I
like
pull up every
it's
Sunday.
gonna be fun.
I'm there. Hey, I ain't scared.
I ain't asking you about being scared. I don't want to stay on this, but this sounds hilarious. But I don't think that we got to anybody else because Johnny's hypothetical for why we should be afraid of the government took us down to America versus the world plus China, and
Hey,
that
me
we're
and
going
Trey
to win.
had two crazy rabbit holes. Shut up, my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I rock
The
with
bunny,
yours. You ain't rock with
what do
mine,
y'all
bro.
call yourselves? The bunny rabbit holes? My bad.
Pause. That's crazy. Insane.
Yeah,
That was a
bro,
good
come on.
joke. G, talk to us. What is the government hiding from us, and should we be afraid? Y'all just was. What did you say earlier? Don't shame y'all. I'm trying not to shame y'all. I'm trying to embrace the concept.
Rabbits and holes. What are you talking about, bro? You scared of Putin? Now you scared of Hitler? We should be scared of him too. Even though
But see,
he
like
ain't about to do
nobody's scared. Nobody's scared. We're talking about strategies. We're not saying this is what I think. We're talking about strategies. It's like every time we start talking about like strategies, you associate it with personal opinions. It's like, why can't we rise above like somebody's personal opinion and just talk about the two different thoughts or strategies?
Because hear me out, bro.
Me and Trey.
I think he's talking to because we both agree on this, John. Like, because I'm on the impression like even if Russia steamrolls all of Europe, I don't care. I think as a Black American, if we go risk our lives over there to go protect some Ukrainians who are racist as hell, they wouldn't even let the Black people get on the bus to evacuate. How look over there trying to fight the people that are trying to go against them? I hope they wipe Ukraine out. I can care less about Ukraine. And if whoever's next, if they're racist over there too, I don't care about them, bro. I don't want Black people to go die supporting some racists to go fight for some racists. Like, bro, that's crazy as hell. But if they want to have like an ethnic white on white crime, an ethnic beef over there, I think Black people need to learn to mind their business. And like when they are fighting it out, then let them fight each other out, bro. We don't have to get into it. The same thing.
But this isn't a Black issue. This is an American issue.
I feel like I'm talking from like a national.
Like I thought we were talking about the institution of America.
They not.
My nation is Black first.
You know? Well, even white America, they ain't doing nothing to white America.
But we're talking about the American military is what I thought we were talking about. I didn't know we was talking about what niggas should be personally doing in the military. I thought it was a conversation about American military strategy.
I imagine the American people. Go ahead.
The American people not really trying to go fight to protect Ukrainians. We're not trying to die over some Eastern Europeans. The American people. I think that's going to be a hard sell. To get
I guess what I was going to say is that the fall of America would impact all American people.
Fort Jackson.
I don't think the American people are in danger if Russia steamrolls Europe. I think Europe deserves it. Honestly, because I think Europe, they've spread so much devastation throughout the world with all this colonialism and the slave trade and all others that they're nobody's friend. they've done less to the world than Putin has. Or
The only
Russia.
people we'd have to worry about is the soldiers over there, the Americans over there.
But
Get
like,
them
who else?
home.
What you think
them
America has
home
done
and
to the
cook.
world? You don't think they don't want America's head on a plate? Pause.
But they can't come and touch us though, because we
Thank
over
you,
here.
bro. We got
They can't come and touch
two big
us.
coasts.
We ain't
We
got
got
no
mountains.
we don't
heavily
border
armed.
nobody. It's the Atlantic and the Pacific. How you gonna come across, bro? You know Germany couldn't cross the English Channel to get Europe. How they gonna cross the Atlantic Ocean to get America, bro?
When was that?
In World War II. They
Okay,
couldn't
how
cross
many
the
years ago was that?
bro? The
I'm
English
just asking a
Channel,
question.
bro. It was
Oh,
60,
Egypt.
it was 80 years ago. But you gonna compare the English Channel versus the Atlantic Ocean? They not.
My bad.
crossing
When
that.
when
Stop
was
it.
when was World
Stop.
War II? Just making sure.
80
When
years
was
ago. 80
no
years
like
ago.
when did it start?
1930 something to it ended in
So
the
like 90 years
1940s.
ago, right?
It ended in the 40s. It ended 80 years ago.
Okay, but it started 90 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
what's your
cool.
point? You think that they can
No,
cross the
I could
ocean
just
now?
imagine they could probably cross the English Channel now.
So
They
they
That's my
can cross
cross the Atlantic Ocean.
But yeah, that's the point.
That's
The
the
point is
point.
we have.
Oh,
we're
y'all don't
difficult
think
to
that
attack because we have two coasts. We
you don't think
share
that they're
any
able
borders
to?
between
Okay,
ops.
gotcha.
Unless they get on Mexico's side,
Stop.
and then like they take over Mexico, then we might have more of an issue.
But they not coming across that ocean to do nothing to us.
They're
It's
not.
never happening. It's never
okay.
happening. Ever. It's never happening. Promise.
That's it.
So
We're over here to do
would
that.
that not be like a reciprocal like conversation right there though?
Elaborate, please.
What are you
Oh
talking
no,
about, sir?
by the sense of like offensively, we wouldn't be able to do anything to them, correct?
We got bases over there though.
Those
Right.
bases would still exist if they took over the entire Europe.
Now we going.
But according to y'all, we don't need the bases. They should just let Europe run them up. We don't need to have their presence in Europe.
Because what do we need to take over Europe for? They ain't got no resources.
They don't.
Why would we go and take over Europe? It's cold. They ain't got no seasoning. They ain't got no oil. What they got over there?
A lot of wealth. They got a lot of wealth.
They got some stolen diamonds.
A lot of
over
wealth.
there.
Yeah, Putin can have it. It ain't ours anyway.
We'll run up and take
a lot of people.
But what do we need to do? Why do we need to go?
A lot
to
of
Europe?
military. But
So we don't want Putin to have
the
wealth. Is
Netherlands
that what it's
underwater?
about?
They ain't got a lot of military because they scared of Putin. They crying to us for help.
Well,
Putin.
I think from a
What kind of
military
military we got
perspective,
over there?
Russia's always had like a
That's why Trump was mad at them because
respectable
they didn't spend
military.
enough money. Trump was mad at them because they didn't spend enough money on their military, and then that happened, and now they got to.
Are you talking about all of Europe or a Europe country?
You were talking about NATO. There's like a certain percentage of your GDP that you need to spend on military. If they weren't doing it, Trump called them out, and they didn't do it. Russia invaded Ukraine. They started doing it. Trump said, "Y'all some assholes," because I've been told y'all to do that. Trump.
My bad. I guess let me ask you this. So, do you, in general, would you say that America versus the world, America will win?
No, bro. They don't have nothing to do with the top.
20v1.
No, I'm just asking that first. I'm trying to understand like where. Yeah, I'm trying to understand when does okay.
All
right,
the other countries, no, we don't win.
Okay, so now,
I mean, but
America and China versus the world, who wins?
Time out. We might not win, but we not gonna lose either because we got nukes.
Yeah, somebody gonna get get a lick.
We not gonna
big
lose.
lick. Yeah,
we not gonna lose. We might not win, but we ain't gonna lose.
Well, I imagine if multiple nukes get dropped on America in comparison to the rest, like even if we drop 3 nukes across the world, we still would lose.
We got we got like 5,000 nukes. We can hit everybody.
Well, how many nukes you think Russia got?
If they hit us, we gonna get ours off too, and
Russia has thousands of nukes as well,
bro. It's called mutually assured destruction.
But if you're fighting the world,
and no, we're all going to die. It's mutually.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. If it's one country against the world, though,
we have enough nukes and we spend enough money that
they wouldn't all get off. And the same issue that you're talking about, like
having to military budget, we spend almost as much money on our military.
We just talked about our military budget, but also what works is the fact that we have listen. Like when we're talking nukes, the benefit would be the fact that we have bases on other countries in which we could bring those nukes in, and then like the proximity allows us to do it. If we're talking about the fact that all things have been taken over, That's not specifically the scenario anymore.
Well, first of all, we don't keep no nukes on foreign bases. That's not what.
Of course, but if we're
there, so like they could take over.
But if the issue is the fact that a country can't hit us, that's the truth. That's true. False.
They're not on foreign bases.
Honestly, I don't know. I can't confirm it or not.
You don't know that.
But Johnny, again, if the issue is that they can't shoot nukes to hit us, that means that we can't shoot nukes to hit them.
Yes, we can because we have nukes on sub. Like it's called a nuclear triad.
Now we're getting back to what I was just saying.
Airplanes and we got submarines.
And you don't think that
you think we the only
world
is we the only? You think we the only niggas with airplanes and submarines?
That's besides the point, though. We're getting way beyond the point.
We have more submarines than anybody else. We have more aircraft carriers than anybody else. We are all right,
but are you talking about like a single country, Johnny? Are you talking about a single country or the world as we just set this conversation up at?
I'm saying, but like even if you throw the whole world there, like
we still got more than everybody.
Our military budget is so much higher than even number 2 that you could put the next top 30 together combined, and they still don't.
All right, so you are saying America versus the world, America wins.
No, I'm saying we're not gonna lose.
It's crazy how you do that, though, Q. Like we having an argument about one thing, and you make a ridiculous assertion, and then you.
What was my ridiculous assertion this time?
Well, can America beat the entire world? We're not talking about that. We're talking about that we need to get in the way of Russia taking over Europe. That's totally.
All right, my bad. Trey, did you follow the conversation at all? If you're saying it's a ridiculous assertion, but we talked about them, like G brought the idea that it's a slippery slope and they'll take over Europe. And when we talk about taking over Europe, we're talking about, okay, at what point does it end? And so me asking us against the world, pretty much it'll be America and China. So y'all said we will win with America with China. So I took it to as far just to see where it ends at. Where do you think that America could actually win at? And if it's America versus the world, America plus China, America plus China, India, America plus China, India, Europe, it has to be a spot where you believe it does or doesn't. It's a logical, linear way to get to it. It's not even like a hyperbolic exertion.
America can't lose. I don't think they could lose even against the whole world.
And that's the point that I was asking to get to. It's not hyperbolic or an exaggeration if that's where he ends at. And that's what I was trying to see.
Because at the end of the day,
that's what I gave it to you. I gave it to you.
That's what I'm saying.
I gave it you.
David, you wanted to talk about FEA right there. You just wasn't following.
I gave you the answer that you wanted.
I still wanted to understand why you think that we need to prevent Russia from doing their thing over there, and you're over here talking about.
G gave you the answer. We piggyback off of G's answer. He already talked about it. It's not like we didn't talk about this already.
No,
G said it. I didn't even have to say it.
So y'all think? I mean, but I guess nobody agrees. John and I don't believe that Russia is anywhere comparable to Nazi Germany. And y'all are making the argument that, well, Nazi Germany did it, so we need to worry about Putin doing the same thing.
No,
and that's where I don't want to get away from.
That's not the argument. That's not the argument. That's not the argument. The argument
is Piers Morgan on us.
It's like, I'm not saying that Russia is Nazi Germany. What I explained was that there was a process in which Nazi Germany became what we know it as today. It didn't just happen overnight.
You're making a comparison, though.
I'm making a comparison to help you understand. Like, you got to understand what comparisons are for. It's like for context. Like, I'm making a comparison, not saying that they're the same, but there are some similarities, and it's to explain the idea. Not even to say that it's what I think. I'm giving you an idea.
You said like the Mongols or something like that. They almost took over the world too. But they did it like like country by country.
The concern is that
America not trying to take over the world.
Germany started occupying countries slowly but surely, and then all of a sudden it was like Germany had occupied damn near, I think, almost 40% of all of Europe.
That's do you when think it's like Germany would have been able to take over the whole world, or you think they would have ran into somebody that'll whoop their ass eventually?
Thank you.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that people don't really talk about as much present day. is the fact that there were Nazi parties in America, there were Nazi parties in Great Britain, there were Nazi parties in Spain, France, all over Europe. The Nazi party had a presence. It was a real thing. Like, it was a real political movement. People were funding that movement, and people were proudly associated with that movement globally.
White people hated
globally.
Them,
Hey, fellas.
Even America hated them.
If I can, we got about 3 in the back end. I think we might have a couple more about to join soon. Which I think that this is kind of a time to kind of slide into the call-in section. We got about 20 minutes left. So again, just to set the rules for this conversation, the idea is to make sure that we have as productive of a conversation as possible. So today the conversation will be about UFOs, UAPs, and aliens. What the government is hiding from us. Should we be afraid? That is the basis of our conversation. Again, just to make sure that it is clear and understood where we're at. Any ad hominems that do happen within this, again, just move straight to backstage. There's no warnings. It's a clear understanding of like what the rules we're engaging in, the ideas and not the people. So with that said, looks like we'll give everybody 3 minutes to kind of give their take on the UFOs, UAPs, aliens conversation that we've talked about. Again, if you want to engage in anything that we have moved on from, feel free. But again, emphasis on no ad hominems. This isn't even like a specific like diaspora war conversation, so I don't think that that's even like pressing or relevant. Let's stay to the topics. Bringing up our first guest.
I already know who it is.
We have Unc in the building. Talk to us, Unc.
Hey,
what up, Unc?
What's going on?
Yo, I want to just speak on the alien situation. You know, to me, I don't know if they exist or they don't exist, but as far as in the technology that America has and the American people, I don't know how all of a sudden we become the smartest people in the room with everything. We invent everything. We always be the first to have this, that, whatever. It's some kind of way that the technology is coming from somewhere, and it's not come from dumbass Americans, because we are not the smartest nation, and we don't have the smartest people here. I'm just saying, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? It could be they doing reverse technology on them things. Who knows? But I do know, like the television, you look at it like this right here. You went from having the radio being the big wave of thing, right? Right up until what? They say, if you look it up, they say TVs were invented in the 1920s, like 27 or something like that. But it didn't get popular because the war pushed it off from television being what it is. But right after Roswell happened, next thing you know, everybody had satellite TVs, all kind of shit going on. I'm just saying, I don't know. It just don't make sense to me that America be the first to have technology before anybody else. And how is it that they always be the first to have all this technology? I just don't know it. But I do know that, you know what I'm saying, with that, and that's the reason with the war thing. If shit happens, America gonna fuck people up. You know, they just are really badly. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. But do aliens exist? I don't know. But and when G said about what would you want to know if the government had you know what I'm saying? Well, like I would want to know about the aliens, but you always right about everybody don't need to know about everything, because you know what I'm saying, it would just mess up the psyche of the average person to know everything that the government knows and what they're doing. But I would want to know about. I would like to know if they really do exist and why are they hiding it from us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's kind of like my take on most things that y'all were talking about, because a lot of that stuff was just
I got you. Appreciate it.
Hey, love
you, man. Love y'all, nephews.
Yes, sir.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
That was a good point where they talk about after that moon landing, how we got all that technology. But you said America's not the smartest nation in the world, so I'm wondering, like who is? And if we're not, then why is everybody coming over here to study? Like, we have the most exchange students. Like, we're not going to China to go study. We're not going to India to go study. They're coming over here. I know we got money, but I don't think we're any slouches. Like we may have a problem in our K through
Look
12
at
education.
just
but
do me a favor. Do me a favor.
universities-
Just do me a favor. Look it up. Don't ask me. Look it up. Just
No,
look it
you
up. You got Google in your hand. Look it up. Got Google on your computer.
Google
You
it.
look it up. Don't ask me that. Google it.
Wait, what's the smartest nation?
That's what you do. Google it. Google it. Google whatever you try to ask me. Google it. Don't ask me anything. Google it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you pissed him off, Trey. Don't ask him no questions. Leave him alone. Trey.
All right. All right. I'll move you to the backstage.
Leave him alone, Trey. Just leave him alone, bro. He pissed off. I forgot.
Oh my god!
Hey, now I love that. We might have to get Google It shirts. That
Google in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit. Funny.
I love that one. Again, another to the stage. Mind the rules. Again, no ad hominems. Staying to the focus to the point. Again, we're talking about today UFOs, UAPs, aliens. What the government is hiding from us. Should we be afraid? Again, if you would like to engage in any of the conversation that we have had, feel free. But again, at the sight of an ad hominem, we're going to go and kind of, take you off stage. Anything that would be inciting, derogatory, inflammatory remarks. With that said, we got two of our favorites in the back end. We're going to start with Kofi. Talk to us, my brother.
Yeah, what's up? Good conversation. I find this to be very, very, very interesting, the topics that you have. So as far as like the whole alien thing, right? There is not a question if there are aliens. They are aliens. If you dive in the world of astrophysics and you know what are planets that are very habitable, where that has a possibility of life, if you do it to 1%,
They
the
exist.
Goldilocks.
They're not here though. They exist. They're just not here.
Well, yeah.
Let them walk it down. Let them walk it down. They walking down the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, that's a debate. I mean, I heard you guys saying there were reports of Air Force personnel, and there's actual videos, and they came out with things saying, hey, look, we had pilots, senior pilots that did not know what it was. This object, when we look at this object, it went from point A to point B, which is a matter of 500 miles in less than a second. There's nobody on Earth that has that type of technology, right? So we know it has to be something out of unworldly, because if China or Russia had that, you would see that in their military. You will see that in their military. You will see some inkling of that in the military, but they do not have anything like that, right? So they know it's something that is not of this world. So are there aliens? Yes. The fact that there's no aliens makes no sense whatsoever. The saying that there's only life on Earth, this little blue pebble marble. If the Earth was to just disappear from the universe right now, the universe would keep on rocking. Nothing would happen. Nothing would change. It's that insignificant. So you just take 1% of that, then yes, then there's definitely aliens. Now, if there's aliens, they know that we're here. Is either two things. Like we all agree on, they're very intelligent, right? So if they're very intelligent, we're like probably like pawn scum to them. It's like, okay, look at these little primitive hominids running around. Really not interested. And if they're a threat, again, they're intelligent. We may have some resources that they may want, and that they'll probably just take it over, and that's it. Again, us trying to like brainstorm what they would do, if they're hostile, it's like a joke. It's like an ant colony to us saying we're going to take over this house. We're just going to laugh at them, and I think that's how they see it. So the other thing I want to talk about, I mean, you guys talk about other things hurting my head with the whole Zacharias.
But hey, let me throw this out. You said an ant colony.
Stay tall, Kofi.
What about roaches? You ever seen roaches take over a house? Those are different than ant colonies.
The aliens.
My bad.
Roaches.
Okay.
There is a theory that roaches are aliens. That is a theory.
I've also heard that too. I heard that
they
lived through
roaches and octopus. Roaches and octopus. They say them things might be aliens.
My bad. I think you want to land with something. Kofi, you got about like a minute. Go ahead, brother.
No, everything has a common answer, and that's another thing with the whole. You guys spoke about evolution, who built the pyramids, and da 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 da. Like all this is like from my study, all this is westernized bullshit. That's not based in any kind of reality. Like the Anunnaki shit, that's from Zechariah Sitchin. He's not an archaeologist. He's not credible in the world of archaeology or history. He's a freaking joke. You know
So,
what I'm
question:
saying?
are you saying evolution, or are you saying like the theories of aliens are bullshit?
No, I'm talking about when it comes to the whole Anunnaki thing. When the whole
Oh,
comes
okay,
to Anunnaki and the whole thing about the whole Yaqub thing, that's not a nation of Islam. That's something more of a 5%ers, nation of gods and earth type thing. When they will talk about Yaqub, that's not like a normal conversation in NOI, what have you know, just to clarify that. But I'm saying when it comes to these things, like when you look at all these shows and saying, is this real? Is that real? Who built the pyramids? We know who built the pyramids. It's just white people saying like, okay, we're so advanced right now. Everyone that's primitive is less advanced. So someone else had to do it. You know what I'm saying? So things like that kind of ick me because we all know if you just study Egypt, they the ones that built the pyramids. They told you how they built the pyramids. It's just a fact. You know, so I mean, and evolution, but I don't want to go over my time. Evolution is
I don't know
not.
if it's just a
Gotcha.
fact, but it's a
But
theory.
It's not a theory.
Hey, fellas, we don't got to get bogged down on it. We went back and forth between theory and fact, but I'm gonna take you to the back end. But nonetheless, you know, stick around. You kind of know the deal and the vibes.
Who else we
Bringing
got
up.
here?
Listen, I don't think he's missed the I don't think he's missed the episode. South Africa's finest.
Oh,
I
I
would
know
love
they
to
got
hear.
aliens there, boy.
I would
my
love to
Pan-African
hear.
brother.
Yeah,
My bad,
Pan African
they
Trey
call
was
them.
my
My
bad.
bad,
That's a joke,
yeah.
Trey. That's
Call
just a
that
joke.
they call that
But
roast the aliens Nigerians over there.
but nonetheless, we are bringing up our favorite Kamu. Talk to us, brother. Again, UFOs, UAPs, aliens. Do you have a conspiracy? Do you have a theory that you dive into? Do you believe in aliens? What's up? Talk to us, brother.
What's up, brother?
Yo, how's it, fellas? Yo,
What's up?
G
What's
and
up?
Trey, you need to calm down, man. Calm down, bro.
Calm. No, we chilling, bro.
I think, bro, that there should be some sort of supernatural. I don't know if we can call them aliens. Or I struggle with the frame of reference for that, but there are some of the things in this world that are unexplainable, bro. Even I understand that black people, as a black race, we've been beat so bad that we want to claim certain things, but scientifically, bro, we just cannot prove certain things. Like our knowledge is limited when it comes to coming with a methodology, repeating certain things, and I mean, in Zimbabwe, they have a structure. It's called the Great Zimbabwe. It existed before, you know, we were colonized and stuff like that. The structure was built off of stones without any cement, and the height of the structure is so tall, wide, and grand that you cannot repeat that, bro. You know, you cannot. Even when you look at the pyramid, specifically the pyramids of Gaza, one stone is so huge that how can you explain that we did that? You know, like
I
it's
mean,
so, bro. Like, yeah. So there's so many things in this world that we cannot explain, bro, and that leaves us with one question: were there other creatures who were here before? And you know, it might be that there were, bro.
I think it just speaks.
Did you
And
say it was called the Great Zimbabwe? The
um,
thing you said?
Pieces come to
yeah,
Zimbabwe.
the
Shout
Great
out to Mr.
Zimbabwe.
Blaster. But like, hey,
And then
Kamu, like, I'll let you finish.
okay, I was coming to the question of deterrence and defense. I mean, bro, who has time to think about nationalities when we are being attacked by these supernatural things, bro? Like, it's
Amen.
crazy to think that, I need,
Amen.
bro, like, come on, bro. Like, this is big, bro. Come on. You don't have to think about morality or my brothers and sisters. Like it's crazy. You
Amen.
gotta do what you gotta do, bro. I don't care. I'm going to hide in that Afrikaan's house. I don't care, bro. Like, it's
I
crazy.
dig
You
it.
don't have to think
Hey,
about such
So
things.
I got
I
a
guess
question. I got a question
go ahead.
before I move. Like you're saying, like the technology. Me and Trey, we talked about like waves in technology, and like just because something like we can't explain it based on the technology they had then or that we have now, don't mean that there wasn't technology that would have made that possible. Because like I guarantee the people who built the Empire State Building, they would have told you that the Burj Khalifa was impossible based on what they knew. But like people built that thing up in Dubai and they made it happen. So like just because we don't know how to do something don't mean that like a previous generation didn't figure that out. And when it comes to those, pyramids, I don't think it was necessarily like no aliens. I think you discrediting like your African people and like
Right.
the
Look at
credibility and
that.
the innovation that they had because
This nigga
like
all
Yeah,
the way
bro.
south.
they
He the
came
furthest thing from
that
Egypt.
was them people from your continent and like arguably our continent too. I might have come from
my,
there too,
my
but
dog talking
like
about Argentina right now.
but like
Um,
we
I
but
thought I
like
was talking about the Great
to say
Zimbabwe.
but to say that it was
he is.
aliens,
It's a
I think
joke.
but to say
Yeah,
that it was aliens, I think
like America, South
it
America.
discredits like the ability and like what was like the original people back then.
Hey,
No,
fellas, we're getting
So let me
close
answer
to the
Colin.
end point. Hold on, I'm pretty much about to give everybody just about to get 45 seconds to kind of wrap it up. Again, I'm Q. I'm kind of tap out my time. I'll toss it to everybody. About 45 seconds. We got about 4 to 5 minutes left. G.
Man, I just say, it's something going on with this UAP stuff, and if you're not aware, just look, just like I would just encourage folks to have an open mind as to what could be possible. That's what I would say. Like, don't make assumptions that it's one thing or the other. Like, the government is hiding information from us for a reason, and we don't really know what that reason is. And until we find out, like, I think we owe it to ourselves to, just put in some research and some time and figure out like how that sits with yourself individually.
Yes, sir. FBA zone.
Yo, just to echo what G was saying, like it would behoove us to keep an open mind, just because we know that there are secrets there, and we know there's evidence of other things, and just because we can't do it today doesn't mean we can't repeat it. Especially knowing that not only do they have secrets, but we've seen time and time again where people come up with technology and they end up mysteriously missing or their inventions get sabotaged, and so we suppress what we could have today if we left unattained. So
Somebody
keep
in
an
the
open
car.
mind, especially shout out to the old heads in the chat. I know I got on y'all nerves today, but just keep an open mind, y'all. You don't know everything. I don't know everything, so just have a discussion and keep it simple.
I dig it. Johnny.
Yeah, I'll just say like there's a lot of things that we don't know, and like there's probably reasons we don't know, and the government is hiding stuff, whether it's for our benefit or not. It doesn't matter, but I don't think we should get distracted from the point that like our government is not doing. It's a lot of people getting rich while we worried about aliens, and I think we should worry about them people that's taking advantage of our tax dollars in that government and that military industrial complex more than we worried about aliens and everything. That's just where I'm gonna leave it at.
Got it. Never mind. Shout out Fat Boy Fly. I was gonna make the joke he made, but
Don't
Kamu,
do it.
you up? Talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Johnny. Maybe I'm pushing it, bro. About Great Zimbabwe. Yeah, could have been us. We can't explain it now, but maybe I'm pushing it. But bro, with pyramids, bro, like that's way too grand, bro. Like, and there has been bones that were found, like giant bones, like big skulls and stuff like that, and so I mean, giants were here, bro. There's evidence for that, and maybe with Great Zimbabwe pushing it, because we also have a similar civilization in South Africa. It's called Mapungubwe. It's similar to Great Zimbabwe. Maybe we did that, but like with pyramids, bro, especially those ones in Gaza, that's too big to explain.
Got it.
Hey, love, bro, love.
If it's one thing that triggered Johnny, it's conspiracies. I learned that today. Talk to us.
Yo, yeah, my thing is, I don't know whether aliens exist or they don't exist, but I believe my belief, I'm gonna just be honest, I do believe they exist. But I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I don't know whether or not, you know what I'm saying, we can't be the smartest people in the whole universe or whatever, but the thing with it is you gotta look at places like the Grand Canyon. What is down in the Grand Canyon? Why you can't fly over the Grand Canyon? What's there? Why is it that the Vatican all records of every stuff they don't even tell nobody about? Institute go and find stuff and then hide it away from the world. It's a lot of stuff out here that goes on we don't know anything about, but it's just what I'm saying. People, like G was saying, people need to understand the difference between a theory and fact. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people look at a theory and they take theory as fact when theory is just a theory. That's what it is. Look up the word. Then you understand the meaning and you stop putting theory as facts. But yeah, I believe it's some aliens here. Something going on. They hiding stuff from us for some reason. And maybe the reason why they hiding it from us because we probably don't need to know. But you know what I'm saying? Just think about that right there. Just look up the Grand Canyon and see if your ass fly over the Grand Canyon if they shoot your ass down. Why?
That's facts.
What the hell is down there? That's right here in the United States. Why? What the hell is in the Grand Canyon?
It's a fact. All right, appreciate you, Kofi. Round us off.
Basically, there's a lot of things that are, unexplained. But what my person, what I'm trying to hit is a lot of things that is explainable. I think it's just us really educating ourselves and not going off of popular belief and just find out for yourselves. So real quick, like comment as far as like the pyramids, if the Africans did build the pyramids, and there's pyramids in Nubia. There's more pyramids in Nubia than there is in Egypt at a smaller scale. And look at the evolution of a pyramid. You have the step. You have the bent pyramid, and from the bent pyramid, it wasn't even perfect. Then you have the step pyramid, and as along as you go, you see they started perfecting the pyramid till you had the huge pyramid that we have now. Again, for example, you have to study it. You just can't look at it and say you didn't do that. That's the big pyramid of Giza is always the one that's put up on forefront because that is a wonder of the world. But there was pyramids before that was imperfect. It was imperfect. So again, things like that, we have to study topics that we're talking about and not go off popular belief. I tell my children that there's a difference between the truth and popular belief. Just because everybody's saying it doesn't mean it's true. Find out for yourself. And that's pretty much it.
Got it. All right. Shout out Fat Boy Fly. Yes, I think that we have a decent enough collective of Panther fans in here.
Oh yeah, you see it.
You see the shirt. You see him.
You see the hat. The
damn.
shirt, all of
I don't
that.
think you can see it in the background. I got a little Panther, little flag back there. But yeah, we again, we Carolina boys. I can't speak for G. He inside Durham, so he
Carolina. I got my Carolina on.
Oh yeah. Look at Yeah,
Hey,
talk
you
to
made
him,
Unc.
Again. Yeah.
Hey, that's Charlotte niggas, bro. I'm just gonna tell you, that's Charlotte niggas, man. Like that's definitely Charlotte niggas. But hey, look, we root for the home team, but these are definitely Charlotte niggas. They rep it hard. Yeah,
listen, for sure. At least Charlotte, Rock Hill, the area. No, we definitely. And which also my bad. Let me get my own little promo out real quick. Just started a hoops podcast. Make sure y'all go follow that. We talking a little nerdy, a little funny about basketball. Again, from a coach's perspective, again from a casual perspective. We're talking about grassroots, elite, college. We're doing it all and talking shit while we're doing it. Open Gym, the podcast. Go check that out. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna be dropping pretty soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after that. But again, just look out for some content. You know, that's all. That's my landing. This has been a great conversation. This has been the most civil panel that we've had. Imagine that. But nonetheless, with that said, this has been a great show. Shout out to the FBAs, the UAPs, and the UFOs. And we out.
Johnny throwing them all kinds